All right, we are live here at Fish North Georgia. Welcome to the live well, everybody. We hope you guys have had a fantastic day, and we're so glad you could join us. If you're watching on YouTube, of course. If you're watching at a later date, hey, we appreciate you guys too. Make sure you like and subscribe. Click that notification bell and all the stuff the young guys say when it comes to social media. Follow us on all social media platforms at Fish North Georgia. You like how I got the business out of the way real quick right then and there?
Did good.
I did good. So, guys, hey, seriously, I don't know how this episode is going to go. Epic fails and tall tales. And so that's got a different meaning for everybody. So when I was telling the guys, it can be anything from something you did wrong to something you saw someone else do wrong to some lies you might have been told or that you might have actually told yourself. We know how the fish grows with each passing year. Just want to have a little bit of fun tonight. And of course, we will answer your questions about what's going on the water right now, which from what I hear with everybody, is practically nothing. At least those are the reports that have gotten back to me from Lanier, some of the smaller reservoirs around here, which does not bode well for me because I have my first tournament of the year on Lanier Saturday, and I can't get any juice from anybody. So hopefully you guys in the comment section can help me out a little bit. So got Father Time back from Las Vegas, his winning ways out
Lost
there.
wages, you mean?
Lost wages in Vegas
lost
and all
wages
that.
in Vegas.
We might talk about your little Vegas trip a little bit. Of course, Dave is with us, and then we got Tony Collum back there working the camera. And I want to go ahead real quick while we got a chance before I start talking about our sponsors. I want to give you a chance to shout out your YouTube page and everything, your social media, because I want people to follow you.
Well, I appreciate it. TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, it's Tony Collin Fishing, and I appreciate any of the follows and likes and comments.
Yeah, he does good stuff. So unlike me, he actually can fish. Unlike Dave and Kevin, they all can fish. But anytime you guys can support one of our local guys and their YouTube efforts, social media efforts, make sure you go ahead and give them a like and subscribe and all that. Let's go ahead and take care of business and talk about our fine sponsors. We got Trent and the guys over at Sonar Pros, the official sonar installer of the live well, 770-530-4505. Like we tell you every episode, this is where the pros take their boats. And so if you want it done right the first time, give Trent and the guys a call. And again, they've got their winter seminar coming up from Smith Built Construction Group. I believe that's what it is. I don't have my notes in front of me, so I'm going off memory. But it's February 2nd at Forsyth Central from 12 to 5. Listen to this lineup. Drew Cook, Drew Benton, Austin Felix, Buddy Gross, Patrick Walters, and Trent himself. Well, I'll be doing seminars there. It's free for high school and college anglers. If you are an old fart and you want to go, it's going to cost you $20, but that is well worth the money to listen to those guys talk. Go to sonarpros.com, click on the winter seminar, and get signed up because it is limited to 375 places. So I'm going. Tony, you gonna go?
I'm trying to go. I gotta make some arrangements first.
Gotta make some arrangements. I think Alex is going. I just want to go out there and see if Patrick Walters is actually wearing shorts. With it being this cold, what's the over/under? You're a betting man.
I'd say 40% he'll wear them.
40% he'll wear shorts.
Yeah, I think he'll be in long pants.
You think so? It's cold. Yeah. It is cold. So we appreciate Sonar Pros. And then let's talk about our buddy Kevin Underwood with Lipsticker Fishing, 678-459-8419. Kevin at lipstickerfishing.com, patreon.com/lipstickerfishing. And guys, listen, every day, weekly, he's always putting his clients on what he likes to call megalodons. He also will talk to you about your sonar and everything, but check his Patreon out if you want an actual live on the water, what I call class and fishing report. The guys that are on it tell me it's one of the best purchases they have made in a long time when it comes to fishing. So we appreciate Kevin and all he does. And of course, now we got Evolve rod sleeves. You see it right here in front of me. It's what I use. It's the best on the market. It floats, got all your little safety features. And the best thing is, your hooks will not get tangled up like them old cheap rod sleeves. So if you're throwing them all in your rod locker and you got crankbaits and stuff, you want an Evolve rod sleeve on your pole. So, and of course, with all the money we spend on plugs, you got to have the Money Saver Lure Retriever, the best plug knocker on the market, bar none. There's not a better one out there. And I say it all the time, the more guys buy, the more good feedback I get on it. We got them here at Fish North Georgia. Order you one. I promise it will save you money. And then for you Alatoona guys, the legend, Bill Payne's Guide Service, 706-280-2305. He does not only Alatoona guide trips, but he will do a seasonal smallmouth trip, other lakes by special request, and he is a master when it comes to the sonar. So he will do sonar trips as well. He is one of the he's a living legend. He's one of the jewels of North Georgia bass fishing, what I like to say. And he is one of the sweetest human beings you will ever meet. So definitely want to jump on board with Bill. And then for you guys that like the up and comer right here, Brooks Anderson Fishing, spotted bass, Lake Lanier. That's all it needs to be said. Brooks can put you on there, teach you how to fish for him, where to fish for him, and why you're throwing what you're throwing. So learn all about spotted bass. And he loves helping the high school and college anglers getting their careers kicked off in the right way. One of my favorite people in the world right there. And, of course, behind me, if we go wide right there, Turner Tire, 706-253-3339 in Jasper, Georgia. Alignment Tires, good people, good family-owned business. Brock's an angler. They're just like us. Any chance you can support a local business, I highly recommend that. And all these businesses, tell everybody you heard about it here at Fish North Georgia. So glad to be here tonight. Going to have some fun. Now, just like Tuesday night's buy or sell, you guys in the comment section were crushing it. And if you're one of those guys that's going to jump on with one of them funky screen names, I got Tony on the lookout. He's not going to let me get caught by some of you guys. So
some of them are pretty clever, though. They're hard to catch.
They are. And, you know, I go through the comments so fast, and I want to read everybody's name. And I'm just getting the flying, and sometimes it actually catches me. So let's go ahead. Cody Campbell, Brian Justice, John Aldridge, Coleman Jones, Anthony Hampton. I can see you guys right now. Ron Swinford, Doc Holliday. Father Time is back. And, of course, we got Clint there, cameraman Cletus, Jerry Cotillo. You guys, there's a lot of you in there. So, Jorge Pampa, appreciate you, buddy. And let's scroll back up because I thought I seen a couple. We're not going to do any corona testing tonight. You have to go back and watch Tuesday night show. Huh?
Thank God. That's too much.
You thought it was too much?
Absolutely.
Am I in trouble?
No.
Did you think it was funny?
No.
Well, Clint did.
Clint really did. I heard about that.
Clint did. We about had a vapor lock on Clint the other night. So, hey, listen, I'm just trying to save some money.
Not my style.
Not your style? I don't even want to ask what your style is right there. So, seeing people fall off the dock on tournament morning always gets a good laugh going. Seen a few of those. Yeah, hey, listen, that is an epic fail. Now, of us four in here, how many of us have ever fallen off a boat in a tournament?
Never have.
Never?
Not in a tournament, but I have fishing.
Yeah, I have fishing. Tony ever fell off a boat?
Not in a tournament, but Lake Weiss got me one time.
I about fell out of the back of Dave's boat while we were filming on Gunnersville. Well, I did.
You were close.
I went knee deep at least on one leg. It was very, very, very close. So, let's see here. Anthony Hampton had 12-7-4 at Lanier today in the Old Farts tourney today. You know, hey, listen, I would love for you maybe in the on Messenger, shoot me something, help me out because I have an electric tournament going out of Bald Ridge Marina this Saturday, or fishing in that area right there, and it's been tough from everybody I've asked. Lanier is fishing just awful tough right now. So any of you guys out there that like me, I don't want you to do it out here on person. I don't want my competitors to know what's going on. But seriously, I can use all the help. And, that's what we're all about here is helping each other out, trying to everybody catch fish. I try to help you guys help me. So anyway, so we got that.
How old, Doc? Doc
okay.
Holliday. How old are you?
Good Lord. Doc Holliday is older than you?
Well, hell yeah, he's a Western guy.
What the hell does that mean?
Well,
I know who Doc Holliday is.
Well, then what are you asking me for?
You think got to be older than me. You think that's the real Doc Holliday?
Oh, it's not?
I don't know. It could be. I'd be pretty impressed if it was. I'd like to have whatever he's taking right there.
14 pounds, Lanier. 14
pounds is what won it on Lanier there. So scroll on down. I'll make sure I ain't missing anybody's right there. Yeah, Clint said he passed gas in your chair the other day. There was only 2 limits weighed in on Lanier.
It was a little slick.
Wow. And I'm telling you, that's what 19 degrees at blast off. And I've seen water temps, guys talking about water temps right now. They've seen it as low as 38. Most of them say 41, 42. What are you laughing at?
Cameraman Cletus.
Oh, yeah.
Tell Kevin I farted in his chair.
Yeah, he did. I tell you, Brooks is going to win the Open this week. Yeah, now that's on Clarks Hill. So you got a lot of those guys out there fishing, and that got brought up the other night. Listen, I'm just telling you, here's what I've been told. And we'll get hang it right there because I'm going to hit some of those other comments right there. But for a second, here's what I've been told about Lanier, especially the Baldridge area. The last 2 years, you go in there this time of year, January, it's taken, in the electric world, 20-plus pounds to win. Baits everywhere. This year, nothing. The guys aren't finding bait. I had another guy come in here today, said he fished every ditch that normally has fish in it. And then he not only went there, he went other places. They're not there. Now, the fish may be there. They're not biting. The guys are seeing them on forward-facing sonar. They're not responding. And so, and this is at least in the Baldridge Marina area, and it's just been everybody on a struggle bus. So, I don't know. If I'd heard one guy say this, fine. I've heard probably 10 to 15 guys say this over the last week and a half. And you've heard me talking about it.
Yeah.
So what do you, I mean, just, you think it's weather related?
You know what? It's weird. It's been so cold, like abruptly cold.
Yeah.
But we hadn't had a whole lot of sunshine either.
Right.
You know, we're supposed to get some sun the next day or two. Something's got to help it.
Something, I don't know. You've lived long enough. You ever seen it do this?
As far as the bait, not finding it?
Just all of a sudden bait being like there year after year after year, and then all of a sudden poof.
Not there, yeah. Yeah, you see it on Alatoona a lot too.
Do you really?
Oh, yeah.
Let me ask you a question. What do you do then if you got a plan going into a tournament and you pull in the area where you normally see bait, normally see fish, other than just saying, I'm going to go somewhere else? I mean, what goes through your mind? Like, what the hell's going on?
I still think the fish are there. The bait may have moved a little bit, and the fish are going to try to move with them, but I still think a lot of fish are going to stay where they're at.
Really? I mean, that makes sense.
They're relating to rock.
Yeah.
Rock.
There's still crawfish to eat.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not going to see that bait that often.
Hey, make a note, Tony, for me. Remind me to take my needle nose out of my pocket. I'm sitting there going, "What?"
Is that another COVID test?
That's an epic. Well, I do other things with my needle nose like that.
Nose
Not
hairs.
what you're thinking. Nose hairs. You know what, dude? I tried to.
Oh, here we go.
No, this was the other day. I got one of them electric trimmers, and sometimes instead of shaving, I'll just hit it real quick with that just to get it down to some stubble. But I had a couple of nose hairs sticking out. So, you know, we're talking about one of these about an inch wide. So I took my nostril and I flung it up right there and tried to hit that thing with that. That some bitch ate me alive.
You bog it down?
Dude, no, it didn't bog me down. It hurt. I was like, I honestly thought I cut the inside of my nose.
Is that one of those epic fails?
That was an epic fail. Epic fail. It's too early in the show to talk about scrotum with my scrotum with one of those too. I got some stories with that too. Them things pinch, boys. All I got to tell you is they pinch. You got to be careful. You got to get the right
tool for
the right.
job.
I guess what are them things that go over it?
Guard.
Guard. Yeah. No, guard. I don't guard it. You know,
Living on the wild side.
I live on the wild side. Yeah.
Did the Band-Aid stick?
The Band-Aid stick? Hell,
You probably use one of them septic pencils. You remember when you cut yourself?
Shit.
That's what you got to use when you get out. Just hit it with that. It'll stop it from bleeding.
Somebody just tuned into this podcast.
You'll
the
run
first
up down
time
the hallway.
We're talking about male. How do you, if I just don't want to say, you know, cleaning your balls, what's a better way to say it?
She'll tell you.
Manscaping.
Manscaping. That's right. He's young. Tony's younger than I am. Yeah, I manscape right there. How many of you guys in the comment section manscape? There's probably a potential sponsor out there going, oh, Lord. So anyway, Ron Swinford, does that mean we have a 38-part trivia question that you can only get the answer by smoke signals?
No, Ron, it means there's only 4 answers.
There's
Yes,
4
Ron, that's
answers
exactly
to the
what it
question.
means.
I'm
tonight.
back.
You're back. And and I'm going to give somebody a Spro rock crawler tonight if you can actually answer the questions.
Well, we didn't tell Danny the question tonight, so he couldn't give you any clues.
Yeah,
I have to answer.
That's what's wrong with this podcast.
Oh,
What?
who's that one at the top? West Coast.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Pull that up. UFC Guru Official, my favorite bass fishing podcast. I like the buy-sell segment you do. Great shows, guys. Rarely catch you live, but I always watch replays. I'm a West Coast angler. Dude, I love it. That is awesome. I love it. Every single episode, it seems like we're getting a little farther out there and a little farther out there, and I'm just scaring the hell out of more of America. I like that. Tell us, UFC Guru, what part of the West Coast are you on? So I would find that to be I'm curious. But we appreciate you, just like we do everybody. We're just some group of yahoos.
Hope it's not California.
Why?
The West
On
Coast.
fire.
The fires.
Oh, yeah. I thought you was getting ready to come up with some kind of
No,
political.
no, that's pretty serious.
Yeah, it is serious.
Pretty damn
I had a fella in here the other day. Let's see. Yeah, it was Tuesday from Asheville, North Carolina. And he was telling me about what was going on there because we were talking about news cycle and how it switched. And I've been to the Biltmore.
Yeah,
You know, I've been to the Biltmore, and I'd love to live in that son of a gun. I could have a lot of fun in the Biltmore. But he was telling me about some of the like the Starbucks and stuff, things that I kind of remembered, you know, that are gone. And just I was like, "Are you serious? The water got that high?" So we're always thinking about people that are in those situations. And the bad thing about California is that those Santa Ana winds kicked up yesterday again or day before. You know, that's the wind is. You know, granted, you can talk about their environmental processes and whatever, but when them winds kick up, dude,
it blows.
Like
It's like hurricane
force winds.
Firefighter, you just can't do nothing with it.
No, and bless their hearts.
God,
Can you imagine being a firefighter in
them
California?
guys ain't slept in days.
No, they work their ass off.
Yep.
It's always people like that keep our world going around like that. So we appreciate them all the way from over on the East Coast. But yeah, tell me where you're from, and eventually we'll get down to the comment where you tell us. So let's see. If Pops fell off a boat, I bet it was off the back one.
Never fell off.
Never fell off.
Never
That's
fallen
good.
off a boat.
Even with the way you use the bathroom.
Nope.
So right there, Cody Campbell, have you guys been seeing any bait down by Baldridge? I know you said there wasn't much recently. No. And so I don't really know what in the hell I'm going to do Saturday.
You got me, Doc. He's 75.
75 years old, Doc Holliday. Man, listen, we got them all ages on here like that. So if you could just start bringing the female viewers, Kevin, that's the only reason I keep you around is your good looks.
You're in trouble.
No, dude, you're much better looking than I am. Andy Anderson. Good luck to Alan Brooks and the Georgia anglers at the Clarksville Open. 28 of the 162 anglers are from Georgia. That is awesome. And, of course, I wish Alan Brooks best of luck in everything. That is one fine human being right there. Ron Swinford. Danny, have you ever thrown a float and fly? You might need to try it out Saturday. I have not. I have heard a lot about it. And I know that's a good thing on Carter's when it gets really cold. Have you ever thrown that in, Kev?
I have not.
Have you?
I have not.
You know what it is?
I
do.
saw a podcast on it the other day or something. Somebody was brought it up. That's the first time I've ever seen it. It's a cool concept.
It's a cool concept, but I don't know if tournament day is the day to try to learn how to do it because I have never tried it.
I don't know. Sitting in a kayak might be pretty hard, though.
In a kayak would be really tough. I would think. I fished up in Baldridge right after Christmas and only caught 3 dinks. I just need 5 dinks. All I want is a limit. I don't have to win the tournament. I just want to have 5. Has Lanier had a shad kill yet, Jerry? I have not had any reports of a shad kill. I know there are guys that are wanting a shad kill for sure, but not that we've been told. That's not to say it hasn't happened, but we haven't been told of any of those. So Ron Swinford, you see it on tuna often. Those offshore fish over there are nomadic. They follow the bait sometimes. So, yeah, I mean, that could be it. I mean, hell, I'd go where the food is. You remember that old Sam Kennison? You know who Sam Kennison is?
Yeah.
You know Sam?
I know Sam.
You remember that bit about
Screamer.
– he was a screamer, yeah.
He was.
You remember that one? He had that one bit where he was talking about the poor people in Africa.
Yep, I remember.
You remember that? And he's like, there wouldn't be no,
move to where the food is.
if you lived where the food was. This is sand. In 100 years, it's still going to be sand. I remember when he came out, he was like, that was back in the 80s. That he like rocked the world. Him and Andrew Dice Clay were like, that was like on the edge. And now they would probably be PG. Yeah. But back then, yeah, he was. He was a preacher too.
I didn't know that.
Before he went, I don't know what he fell off the bandwagon somehow.
Boy, he screamed though.
No, he screamed, but that was one of the best bits he did though about the food and everything. So when it's this cold, a lot of the shad and fish will just lay on the bottom. I did hear a guy say that he saw bait in the timber 60 foot, but they were just like you said, clumped up right on the bottom and not moving, and they didn't find fish around them. So Silver Punk's got one of them Manscaped electric razors, and yeah, for sure. Our stumps look bigger if you cut. Jeffrey Johnson. The stump looks bigger if you cut the grass out from around it. I understand that 100%, and they do. Until you get in a hotel room. Hotel mirrors never lie. I mean, hotel mirrors will make you feel awful. I always I grew up playing baseball.
I don't think he's talking about bait.
He's not. No, listen, he's not. He's not. But I grew up playing baseball, and I always tell everybody I like to play on a clean field, not a cow pasture. If you get my drift, and that's for the other part of the equation right there as well. So, Doc Holliday, epic fail. Good. We might actually have one of these this show. We might talk about epic fails and tall tales.
Oh,
Back in the early 80s, we had a club classic on L. Jackson, and only one fish was caught, a crappie.
Wow.
Now, I'm going to assume that's for the entire tournament.
We had a bad one
That is an epic fail.
about 4 years ago on Sinclair. And we pulled up, and I dropped the boat in the water. It was 25 that morning. And I won it with 3 and 2 little bitty lime burners. And I had a 6.5 pounder.
And you won it?
Yeah, I won because we used to do. I won big fish. I won the tournament, and we used to do what we call boat weight, where me and Kevin were fishing together. Our total weight counted, and we had a pot. I won all 3 pots.
Did you really?
Yeah, with like 8.5 pounds.
Now,
it was terrible.
It was not an epic fail on mine, but I had a tournament like that, high voltage, and we're talking, good grief, this was high voltage bass anglers. Goodness, we got to be talking 10 years ago, maybe even a little longer than that. They came to Latham, and this was before Latham had the bluebacks get in it and everything blew up. So it was a dink fest, and it had big largemouth in it, but the spots were dinks. We decided to join high voltage because their second or third term of the year was on Latham, right in my front yard. So we joined, we jumped in. We had 4 fish at 2:30 for about 4 pounds. On the way back to weigh in, the spots came up schooling a little bit, and I threw something in there, and I caught a 5th one. So we had a limit. It was like 517. We won that tournament with 517, and that fish we caught on the way back to the boat ramp was the winning fish. Right. I thought we were going to get embarrassed. But that, again, that was before Latham was what Latham is now, or has been right there. So bassing in the South with this cold front, what is the best approach?
slow.
That's what I got told to fish. Slow.
For Lanier?
Well, that's what I got told for Lanier, but I guess you could go anywhere.
Lanier, I'm going to take a swim bait, throw it as far as I can throw it, let it hit the bottom, and crawl it.
That's a lot of people.
Or shake your head and sit there and shake it and try to shake the flake out the worm before you move it.
Yeah. I'm even considering throwing a Carolina rig. And I don't throw a Carolina
Wouldn't
rig.
be a bad option.
Ned rig or Carolina rig, just to get 5.
Get a bite.
But even with those 2 presentations, slow. And to quote Bill Payne, if you think you're fishing it slow, slow down.
Yep.
I don't know any other thing to do. I mean, they are probably glued to, I'm sure there's fish up somewhere, but they're probably glued to the bottom, most of them. And they're probably a little bit lethargic, but I don't think a spotted bass, if you can get it in front of his face, just right there where, he's going to eat it. He might not be the one to win you the tournament, but that's what I'm hoping. This past summer, John G. Wilson, I won a kayak bass tournament on the Canoochee River by catching just 1 bass. So is that an epic fail for the entire tournament? Would you consider the tournament an epic fail? Or would you just consider John just kicked everybody's ass with 1 bass?
Hey, you catch one, you win. A win's a win. I don't care if it's
hell yeah. You got the baseball. You just need 1 more than they got. In every sport, you just need 1 more than they got.
I got a buddy that was at Allatoona a few years ago fishing about this time of the year. They caught 2 fish. Going back to the ramp, they decided we're going to throw them back like we all do because we're not going to win anything.
Right.
They get back to the ramp. The tournament director goes, "What do you got?" He goes, "Nothing." We threw them back. He goes, "I wish you hadn't done that. You were the only guys that caught anything."
That is an epic fail.
That is an epic fail.
That is an epic fail. We did that at the Classic, at the EBO Classic this year. Tough day. Everybody was catching the limit, all dinks. We had like a 2-5 spot. They won big fish was 3-something. And we were like, They go, "You want to weigh a big fish?" And of course, our dumbasses said, "Nah." It would have been big fish for day 2. We'd have won a little pot for day 2. That's an epic fail.
Because of that story, I weigh in at every tournament, typically weigh in at every tournament, no matter what.
I'm going to give you a good epic fail right here. Now, some of you might have heard this story, but if you haven't, this is honest to God's truth. We're fishing over at Hickory Log in a tournament. All right. So the guys in front of us had their bag. We had our bag of fish. We're in line. Well, they go up. They pour their bag in and everything. They took the lead. Of course, they take pictures right then and there. So they asked me to hold their bag. So I've got my bag, I've got their bag, and they're both on the ground full of water. They come back, they put the fish in the bag, they take off to the lake to dump them. I go up to the scales, and they go, "What you got?" I got 5 alive, 5 alive. I poured an empty bag of damn water. I'm not lying to you. I poured it. You ought to have seen the guy that was running the scales. He looked at me like he didn't know what the hell to say. And while I'm pouring that thing out, I go, "Oh, shit." I look over, and my 5 fish are being dumped out with their 5 fish back in the hickory log. So we weighed in a 5 fish limit of 0.
Oh, man.
True story. And you talking about the most embarrassing damn thing. And then all these guys are looking at me, and I'm like, I swear to God, we had 5. And Josh was fishing with me at the time, and he was like, you know, and guys were yelling to try to get them because we knew what their weight was. And if we'd have caught them in time, we could have weighed all 10 of them and then done the math. But hell no, I went up to the scales with a bag of water. That, my friends, is an epic
That's
fail.
that's probably one of the top ones right there.
That's one of the clean epic fails I can say right there. But yeah, I wish I had a picture of the guy running the scales' eyes when I dumped that, because they were just you know how you pull a bass you pull a largemouth out of 60 foot of water, they got them big ass bug eyes and everything.
Oh, yeah.
That's what this guy's eyes were looking. And it got quiet as hell. Just and everybody's to my back. And just like nobody knew what in the hell to think. And it was just like a 5-second just silence.
Oh, no.
And then everybody figured out what the hell was going on. It was like, there's my fish. So if you guys have ever done anything like that, I feel sorry for you. UFC, he's in Vegas. Vegas, baby.
Nice. Where are you staying?
Where you staying? He might live in Vegas.
I was at Treasure Island.
You were where?
Treasure Island.
Treasure Island.
Yeah, I left some treasure out there too.
Was there anything worth looking at out there?
Not at all. I had my wife with me. I don't look at that kind of stuff.
Good answer. Good answer.
You lying like hell.
I am
That's
not.
a tall tale right
No,
there.
Shoot, I'm happy.
Huh? I didn't say you were happy. Oh, you weren't happy? And you got a very beautiful wife.
I do.
You got a very beautiful wife.
Extremely satisfied.
That's like one of them things you see when you pull
Are you
something up
watching,
and it says rate this thing, and it goes from poor all the way to extremely satisfied. And Kevin's extremely satisfied. I bet you are.
I am.
That don't mean you wasn't surrounded by it though.
I didn't notice.
You lie like shit. Coleman Jones, right there at the top. When do y'all expect the pre-spawn bite to really pick up on the near/surrounding lakes? I assume delayed since we have significantly cold weather. Now, that goes to the age-old argument, almost like the rut with the deer. Is pre-spawn kicked off by water temp or by the length of days? What do you guys think? Or a combination of both?
Both.
Both. So the water temp can kind of delay it a little bit, but I do think they've got a built-in mechanism in that little bitty, pea-sized brain of theirs. Just like it's that time.
I don't know if they're going to move up if that water's not at a good temp.
So let me ask you this. If the water stays cold, let's say we have some flukish kind of thing.
Like now?
Like now, but let's say it's April and it's still this cold. They going to spawn or they going to hold off?
I think you'll have some spawners up there.
Yeah.
You have
But
some
not like-
spawners in March. But I mean,
Even with it this cold, let's just say the water temps are still in the 40s.
if we don't have these super low nights, but here's the thing: it takes a long time. I'm talking 6
To heat the
7
water up.
weeks for that water temperature to even start coming up.
That's
I mean,
right.
it takes a long. As fishermen, we always want to. It's 58. We put the boat in the water, but it ain't been 58. I mean, it takes a little time for that lake to
If
warm
it's the
up.
low 50s, high 40s, I don't think you won't get a big influx up there.
Okay. I have no idea. So, all right, let's scroll on down and see if we missed anybody else's questions. Okay, I got a big question. Can I read that surprise backpacker? Is that a good? I don't know if that's a trick one. Green wacky love the juice.
Green wacky worm.
Like right now? Now listen, I love throwing a weightless
You
wacky.
do.
But what about a weighted wacky with a big Cinco, slow dragging like a road bed?
I don't think it's a bad idea, to be honest. It's something that'll keep that bait in front of that fish. Shaky head, wacky worm, just something you can sit there and just barely shake it like it's dying or it's cold.
I'm going to be so damn cold. I'll probably be shaking.
Yeah, you just
naturally.
hold the rod. and
Yeah, just hold the rod and you're
Yeah,
sending vibrations out through the
That's
water.
yeah. Anything slow like that, I think, would probably be a good place to start.
Let me ask you this: when it's this cold, do you wear gloves fishing? Because I can't
No.
fish with gloves.
Yes,
I can't either.
I have to. I don't have a choice.
Yeah, well, you have a condition in your hand.
I had Reynolds.
What did I say again?
Reynolds.
Reynolds. That's right. I remember you telling me that.
Yeah.
I knew you had something. What about you, Tony? You wear gloves?
Yes, I do.
You're a Southern boy down south. You shouldn't be having to wear gloves.
Well, I mean, when I drive the boat, I'm putting the gloves
Oh,
on.
driving.
yeah,
100%.
driving, yeah.
I'm talking about when you're actually
When I
with the rod.
first start fishing after driving, I will keep the gloves on for a few minutes and then they come off. But
They come off.
I do keep them on for just a few minutes. I do.
I tell you what, I learned with those fish monkeys and even those new AFCO ones that are water resistant or waterproof. I can take a hot hand and put inside of my glove in my palm, and I can throw a bait caster, I can throw a spinning rod, and it keeps enough warmth on my hands that my fingers still work.
I slide it in my sleeve.
Yeah, but I can
Yeah.
with those fish monkeys, I can stick it in the AFCOs. I can put it right there into my palm, and it's after you do it for 30 minutes, it's like you've had it there the whole time.
That's right. Don't remember public service announcement. If your hands are really cold, pee in a bottle. 98.5, hold that bottle for a few minutes. Your hands will be right back fine. Just don't. Well, I guess you can pee on your hands. You do that. All right. So Doc Holiday says, terrible day, 40 degrees and raining. Lake was color of dark chocolate milk. Yeah, that's never a good thing. That's never a good thing. Let's see. Carson Fowler. Did the blueback hurt or help Latham? Helped it. As far as the spots went from 12 inches to 3, 4, 5 pounders. Sometimes I think there's too much bait in there now. And I do think that with that, what you did see is you used to see spotted bass just out there, them little spots out there, schooling and hitting the top by themselves. What it did was it created a class of largemouth. You still have your largemouth that sit on the timber and they're down, doing what largemouth we would think would do. Now you got largemouth out there busting the top in those schools of spots. So I think it also kind of changed. What I was worried about was blueback heron are notorious for spawning right after largemouth have spawned. So your largemouth spawn, you got all these little bitty fry fish in the grass or anywhere they can hide. Right about the time they get there, that's when the bluebacks come and they spawn, and bluebacks are notorious for eating fry. So I will say that the lake's weights have gone down a little bit, and there's been a lot of different theories as to why. But overall, as far as spotted bass, they helped a lot. So let's go ahead and hit our buddies over at Fishers of Hope. Right there, their mission is to glorify God, be servants of his word, to bring those in need to peace and hope that only he can bring. Guys, we talk about it all the time. They are a ministry that throws tournaments to help someone in need. And they always can use good people like you watching at home to join them in their fight to do this. Fishers of Hope Ministry at gmail.com. Tony, they're great people. Great people, and they got good hearts, and they just want to help. They enjoy fishing like we do, and so they need those. And I wanted to put this out. Put the camera back on me. So I really like this group. I like what they do. And I want our viewers, I'm going to set it up. I would like those of us that are doing this to help them. I want to get them a set of really nice high-end scales for their tournaments. You're talking about, I don't know, $1,500? Is that about what a good set of scales cost?
I have no idea.
These people do nothing but help other people. So I would like to figure out a way, and I don't know if GoFundMe is the best way to do it, but I'd like to raise enough money to help them get a legitimate top-end set of scales so that when they do these tournaments, they're doing them right. They do the best they can, but they are, a nonprofit, limited resources. The money that comes in goes right back out into the community. They don't keep the money or anything. So if you guys are interested in joining me for that, to help figure out a way to do that, send me a message on Facebook. Hit me in my messenger, Danny Pruitt, or you can email me, danny@fngo.com. And just let me know if I got some interest in that. I'd like to throw it out to you guys first, and it doesn't matter where you live across the United States. I will see, however we do this, that every dime goes to their scales, and then also if there's more money left over, to put it in their bank account so that they can help out somebody else, because there's always a need. So I appreciate Fishers of Hope. I hope you guys see that I appreciate them and what they do, and that you guys will join us with that little cause. And I'll get some more information out about that on our Facebook group page at Fish North Georgia. So just hit me up in Messenger. Let's see. Silver Pump. When a shad kill happens, how long does that usually last? I mean, what do you think? And it's not in the entire section of the lake either. So, I mean, you can have a shad kill at one end of the lake and maybe not the other if you get on a big one.
Until they're dead.
Ryan, I love you, dude. So I heard it. Listen, check this out. I got it on my phone, but Sheffield already has a set of he's got a set of rebuilt the scales. Ryan, I couldn't see the whole message on the thing. I don't know if there was a price on it or what, but let me get with you guys and see what we can do. But I appreciate you, dude. He's a good guy. He's a good guy. He gets loud, but he's a good guy. When he gets excited, he is. But appreciate that, buddy. So if we need to do something with that, I will get that out to you guys. So that is awesome. I love it when guys do that. Fishing community is the best. You know what? Outdoorsmen, like that. You have all these people fussing about some of the things. We always talk about the drama and the negativity in the sport, but by and large, 95% of the guys in what we do are good people. Yep. So appreciate that. But a shad kill. I mean, did you answer that question?
No.
You were, and that thing popped up on my phone. What do you think? How long does it usually last?
Again, different parts of the lake, maybe 2 weeks at the most.
So it's quick. You got to be in and out.
I would think.
Yeah, I'm not as familiar with that. What do you think?
I don't know, because
we ain't had one in a while.
No, that's what I've heard. And the place I see it is at Gunnersville, and it lasts not that terribly long, maybe a month. But it also depends up there because we got current. So if we get a big rain and they start ripping current to keep the lake down low for the winter pool, it gets sucked out. So it's hard to know how long it really is.
Right, that makes sense. So let's see. Ron Swinford, he's back to helping me out right here. I like this. And guys, in the comment section, you might have a comment we might get to it in 5 minutes. So if it's your first time listening, we go back and forth. Throw a floating worm on the Carolina rig like a Z-man, and after each pull, let the worm float up until it starts taking line, then slowly pull again. Okay. It's very simple. There's not much to a Carolina rig. But I don't throw it very often. It's not sexy.
No.
It's not sexy.
It works. So.
It's always worked.
It's no worse.
It's hard, I know.
Huh?
Wouldn't it be pretty difficult out of a kayak to be throwing one?
A Carolina rig and a kayak?
Yeah.
Well, he's not fishing.
I'm not fishing a kayak. But if I was, yes. I'll be in my boat.
Oh, we?
Yeah, I'll be in my electric rig. But still, setting a hook on it.
I'm a Carolina rig guy. I like it. I don't like throwing it, but there are times when you have to do it.
What do you normally put on the end of your Carolina rig?
Trick worm.
Trick worm? I've heard anything.
Or lizard. Either one.
See, the lizard is what I've heard. A little 4-inch lizard, not the big one.
No, I'm putting a 6-inch.
You're putting a 6-inch. Well, how about this, though? With the bites really, really tough like it is on Lanier?
6-inch.
You're still going 6-inch.
Yep.
Just got more confidence in that.
I do have more confidence in a 6-inch.
Which, hell, if he's throwing a trick worm, that's a big, that's some size there.
It's a 6-inch.
Yeah, 6-inch. So, yeah.
6.5, yeah.
I've heard trick worm, Cinco, fluke. I've heard of fluke.
Yeah.
I even heard a guy one time talk about Carolina rigging a crankbait.
I think it was on. Wasn't that a question? One of the shows.
It was on one of the shows. We talked about it.
Yep.
Which, like that would be like the weirdest ass feeling.
Jerkbait on it too.
Jerkbait. I don't know. We're gonna see what happens. So, Mike Prodies, you figured out they don't. I don't know what that was for.
No idea.
Yeah, but like I said, we're so far behind on comments right there. What's up, Alex? Mendel Bird. Love the podcast, guys, from Lake Murray, South Carolina.
Awesome.
Patrick Walters stomping territory right there.
He's sitting on the gym too.
Huh?
He's sitting on a gym too over there at Lake Murray.
Lake Murray is the one lake I hear in the South. When we talk about Lanier being like
They got
Well,
largemouth.
That's
act
what I'm
stupid.
saying. They got largemouth at like our spots.
I want to go.
I do
have not
too.
been.
Sounds like a guy's weekend trip.
Yeah.
We need to do that right there. So, Randy Callahan saw two striper guys unloading their center console, and they took all the straps off before getting to the water. The guy driving the truck pulled up a little, and the boat slid off onto the ramp. Epic fail right there, and that happens a lot more than you think.
Oh yeah,
Or what about the guy whose truck just pops out of gear,
I've seen that.
and then
too.
the whole damn thing's underwater?
Yeah.
What do you think's going through that guy's mind when
Oh,
that's happening?
shit.
Oh, I mean, what else could go through his mind right there?
We had a guy one year on Toledo Bend. They did that. The guy got his boat, took it, filled it up with gas, came to the ramp, and dropped it on the ramp.
Mm.
It was like a 20-foot champion. It was like 8 of us. We had to spin it around and push it in the water. You know, they went fishing
After all that,
after all that.
like
they
hell,
went
we're
fishing.
here.
I had 2 guys about to throw up with us. He was like, "Man, I'd have to go home." They literally went fishing, fished all day. They were pulling out when we were pulling out that evening.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't think I could have done that.
Now I know, like when I fish with Ryan and all that, like Ryan, he'll pull his Phoenix up, boom, it's so heavy, and I'll pull out. He'll hook it up top, you know.
I power loaded mine with yours.
Yeah.
With you driving.
Yeah. So that's what.
I
But
hope.
my cousin, he is like totally. Now he just got him a new Express, and it might be a little heavier. He had a lighter boat, one of those. Is it Axis or Avis or something? That's an aluminum boat.
Vexus.
No, it's not a Vexus. I think it's very similar,
I got you.
but it starts with an A. But anyway, he wasn't unlocking that thing till those tires hit the water, and I wasn't pulling out till he had that thing locked up. So it was never going to happen to him. But there was one time that I totally forgot that, because like Ryan, I would just back off and just slam that boat and let it fly off. I did that with him, and it was hooked up. Boom, boy, it made some noise like that. And I was like, yeah. So he's very careful with that. So that is an epic fail. Absolutely epic fail. Cody Campbell. Danny, you ought to watch Matt Stefan's recent video on the wacky rig. Made some cool modifications that made it sink good but keep its action. So I'll have to do that. And surprise backpacker. So he's up by Carter's. Wacky Green Carter's fishing tournament could not fish, float, and fly. Stop me before paying. Yeah, that. Alex Purse. I wear gloves while moving, but not while fishing. I'm no sissy. Oh, Alex.
Good
Them
for you.
kayaker guys are different breed of people right there, baby. So I get that. Randy Callahan, if you need to check and see if you got COVID on the lake, be sure to have a hand warmer.
It was a warm, wasn't it?
Dude, unless I had a fever, man, I was sick. I had to do what I had to do. You guys got to understand the situation. And the problem is, I'm telling you, a lot more of you guys have done that will let on right there. Anthony Hampton said he'll donate $10 for the scales. Absolutely. I love it. On the water with Rod and Jesus, have a tournament and use the proceeds to get a scale. Might do that. The only problem is getting a permit right now. So, but we might do. I'm gonna do something because I want Fishers of Hope to get new scales right there. Danny, I didn't see you at the no forward facing tournament weigh-ins last weekend on Lanier. The winning weight was 21.37. About 10 bags had 15 or more. Yeah, it was really good, even on a tough weekend. And I went to Jimbo's for a little while. And then we ended up going to a hockey game. And so I had to do a few things before we went to see the Atlanta Gladiators that night. So I didn't make it over there, but I heard it was really cool. Another guy says organize a tournament on Lanier. We might just do that. We might definitely do that. Ron says shad kills can tend to die over a few days and takes weeks before the fishing gets back to normal. That makes sense. Let's see. A speed crawl on a Carolina rig is common. It's avid. Yeah, so there you go, Luke. So it's an Avid. That's the brand boat. Now he is definitely upgraded now in his Express, and he says he absolutely loves it. So, and Jerry Catula is on Lake Murray as well. So there you go. Got some South Carolina boys in the house. I love that. Pontoon Jody catfishing. Now this was from Tennessee right there. Howdy do? Howdy do to you, ma'am. Appreciate you joining us tonight. So, I think we've caught up with the comments.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, how about that? She says they have a shad kill at Watts Bar Dam right now. Now, she's a professional catfisher woman.
Okay.
Professional catfisher.
Cool.
Did I say that right? Professional catfishing?
Yeah,
I just say angler. It doesn't matter if she's a woman or not.
She said she's supposed to be maybe going to Gunnersville for a tournament or two.
That's
I
right.
think her daughter.
That's a big deal.
Do what?
Her daughter lives out there or something like that.
Yeah,
You know
that's what she said. Yeah, that's a big deal there. I see all those boats. And
I'd like to do a catfishing tournament one time.
They catch some big ones.
Oh, yeah. No, see,
Golly.
we'd be like, we'd get a 10-pounder. We'd be like, hell yeah. They're catching
No.
like 60, 70, 80 pounders.
Oh, over there we got some big ones.
I bet
and
you
they'll
do.
live up there shallow too. They'll we catch them on.
That's
on
crazy.
rigs and
That's crazy.
all
Well,
kinds of
Farmer
stuff.
caught one in Chickamauga that buried a 50-pound scale on a underspin. He saw something busting. He said he saw shad flying out of the water and everything, and they were shallow. And he just zoomed his underspin up there and laid into it, and it was a cat. There's a picture of it on his Facebook page. They had a 50-pound scale, and it buried it or broke it one.
Wow.
So she says, "I'm just an angler. I answer to it all." Well, we appreciate you joining us right there. So let me ask you this. Okay, have any of you guys ever been down to Lake Blackshear?
I've been there before. I was born down that ways. I've fished the bank 1 or 2 times when I was younger.
Yeah, I have no experience. How about
I
you?
haven't.
So if
None.
any guys in the comment have been to Lake Blackshear, help Cody out. We might can help him out with the question he's got. Kevin, let me ask you this. You get a choice. Epic fail or tall tail?
I got a bunch of epic fails.
Give me an epic fail.
You ever knock your net overboard
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
with the golden rule in it?
I have not done that.
I've done that.
I did step on a golden rule one time. You know how it's got the little thing that comes up, the one side that comes up? And I was just walking. We were in the middle of a tournament, and I stepped down, and that son of a gun just goes, doo! It just went flying off the boat because I hit that little part that sticks up.
Sticks
It just,
up?
yeah.
You ever lose 2 $1 bills to make 12 inches so you can measure your fish?
I have not done that.
Each bill's 6 inches long.
Each bill, I do know they're 6 inches long. You measured fish with that?
Oh, hell yeah. And you ain't got a golden rule.
Oh, that's funny. Doc Holliday says Blackshear is a good crappie lake. Okay, no, I've never pulled out $2 bills.
I've lost 2 rod and reels, $400 a piece, trying to land a fish.
Wow.
My partner came up with a net to get my fish and knocked one rod over, and I dropped my rod to reach down and try to get that one, and he's pushing it down with the net, trying to net it.
Yeah.
And the fish that I had on my other rod pulled my rod in. All at the same time.
All at the same time?
All at the same
Now, let
time.
me ask you, did you lose your temper or anything? Or
No,
you didn't?
I did not.
You did not lose your temper?
No,
You just said it's one of them things.
I fished with this guy for 20 years. I couldn't lose my
You
temper.
couldn't lose your temper on it. I've got it was a brand new Revo Rocket and an FX rod that I had maybe thrown 10 times, and I took a customer fishing over in Latham, and he's a friend now too. So, yeah, I'm getting ready to say that too, Ryan. But it got knocked off, and it got knocked off in the standing timber, and so it's not like you can drag and try to. I mean, you throw a treble hook down there, you're screwed anyway. I did. So Ryan, let's see. Well, how about this? What's the maddest you've ever been on the water? And then I'll get to Ryan's comment. The maddest you've
I
ever,
think breaking off on a fish.
just at yourself.
Yeah.
So not at your partner or nothing like that. You ever been mad at your partner?
No.
You're so level-headed right there.
Well, I mean, what good's it going to do you?
No, well,
I can only control so much, and I don't worry about anything else.
that's true. What about you? Maddest you've ever been? Tony, you can answer that too. Maddest you ever been on the water?
We were fishing at Rayburn one year, fishing one of those weekend series with bass, and I had 4, and we went up shallow flipping, and I flipped in there and caught a hung into what we thought was going to be a really good fish. It ended up being about a 8-pound shoe pick.
Oh, what?
Shoe pick. Grinnell.
Oh, you know, my mind, I'm sitting there thinking like,
things.
yeah, okay, but you said shoe pick, and I'm sitting there honestly thinking, you know what a shoe pick is, right? You know, that you used to put dress shoes on. You
It's
Those are
Shoehorn.
shoe horn. Okay, that's what I was thinking.
Wow.
And I was sitting there like, who the hell's got 8-pound shoe horn? It's like, what's that shit made out of lead? I'm sorry.
Tungsten.
Listen, I, you know, it is what it is. What about you, Tony?
I'll keep it very vague. We were to lake last year, and my partner put a fish in the box after measuring it, and he let me weigh the fish in, and it was short by legal standards.
Ooh,
You lost your big fish.
saucy.
No, we only had a couple of fish. I'm sitting there, with a fish that I shouldn't even have in the boat.
That's kind of embarrassing too. That's almost as embarrassing as having an empty bag.
And everybody's watching them measure the fish, going, "You're 2 inches short." I just
You
look
were
at
2 inches.
yeah, I just look at him.
Story of my life. Oh Lord. So in that up, what's going on, buddy? Glad you could come back tonight. There was one going back up. I want to read Ryan's comment because this has happened. I have broke 2 casting rods on his boat. The first night tournament I fished with Ryan. Okay, again, you gotta realize electric only. I'm not used to that big ass outboard back there. I went back casting, pow, right off the top of his motor. And Ryan turns around and gives me a look, and he probably remembers it better than I do. But I know it wasn't a couple minutes later, pow, right off the top of his motor too. And about that time he turned around and goes, "Them things ain't cheap."
Nope.
And I said, "Yeah, you're right, big dog. They're not." That one time we were fishing and I got hung, brand new cash and rod. And we were fishing. I had my yellow tech, and I went to pull it, and the line snapped, and all of a sudden my rod hit that yellow tech. It was my first cast with that first or second cast with that casting rod. Broke it. Broke it.
How expensive a rod was it?
Well, it didn't cost me shit. I took it off the
I
shelf.
was gonna say you warranted it, didn't you? It was under warranty.
Talking about warranty, I had a guy one time. No
I
lie.
remember this.
Huh? Well, I don't know. There's so many of them. You say I remember. I had a guy one time about trying to warranty a rod. He called me up and he goes, "I dropped my rod in the lake and it sunk."
That's it.
He goes, "Well, cash and warranty it," or whoever the hell it was. And I'm like,
Arc, wasn't it?
I forget what I was like. Hell, you got to have a rod to warranty. I mean, he says, I can't. Well, my guy dropped it off the boat. Can you send me a new rod? But I got that phone call.
Wow.
Yeah. So
You ever left the net home?
Oh, often.
I've got 4 nets now.
You got 4 nets.
I have stopped at Walmart on the way to Sinclair to buy a net.
Oh, you made sure you had it.
I remembered riding over. Oh shit!
I know. Me and Josh were heading over to. We just bought this brand new coal system. This 4 or 5 years ago, and we're heading over to Fish and Electric tournament at Cedar Creek in Gainesville. And we're just bebopping through there, and we get there, and we get the, we had a cooler at the time because we didn't have a live well. So we had a cooler set up with a pump and everything, and that coal system was in that. Well, somewhere along the way, the top of the cooler came up, and that brand new coal system is on the road somewhere in Gainesville. It flew right out of that thing. And then, of course, we had the wheel bearing go off in downtown Atlanta. Right there on 75-85, right there at Georgia Tech, lost a wheel bearing. That was an epic fail, my friend, because we had fished hard labor, and we had gotten up at 2 o'clock that morning to drive all the way out there. We did the tournament. We did all our stuff because we were associated with that tournament. Now we're driving home, and we go through Atlanta. We got home that night at 12:30 because we had to wait. Luckily, there was a mobile mechanic in Atlanta. And when I say downtown Atlanta, it's like, Josh went to a bar and got him a beer. He did it. I'm sitting on the back of my boat with my pistol out. We're in that part of Atlanta. And we had some cigars. The only reason we found out, we were sitting there smoking cigars, and we had the whole truck. We probably like Cheech and Chong in his truck. There's smoke all over. And Josh is just he decides to roll the window down. Well, there's a guy right beside us in the car that's been trying to get our attention. He goes, "Your tire's on fire." We look back, and it looked like we blew a head gasket. It just obliterated that wheel bearing. And there was only one AutoZone Advance that was open that night. And he went and he basically found enough parts to put it together to get us home. So we decided we're hungry. It's 11:30 at night. So we pull off a Canton at the Taco Bell to go to the Taco Bell. Well, we get blue lights behind us. And we're like, well, hell, this is just the way this night's going. 2 female officers get out. And you got to understand, we've been smoking cigars, stuck on the side of the road. And our eyes were just bloodshot red. And they didn't believe we weren't drinking or stoned or whatever. We're just like, we're tired, ma'am. We just want to go home. But that was a hell of a day. So that whole day was an epic fail right there. Cody Campbell, my worst fail is pulling up the trolling motor strap only for it to break from dry rot. Been there. I think we've all done. How many of you guys have took off and forgot to pull your trolling motor up? Yep.
Oh,
I've done
I
that
have at one time or another.
Yeah, and boy, it doesn't do good for those little mountain bolts right there. So scroll on down right there. Let's see. Tony Hall, been fishing for 50 years, lost 1 rod and reel in 50 years until last year and lost 2. Yeah, it happens. And then, of course, Cameraman Cletus is a shoehorn, old man. Hey, I do what I can do. Ron Swinford. I tried to skip under a jig under a dock at Wise, hit a post, backlash to pull out the reel, got bit, set the hook, couldn't reel the fish in. Fish jumped under the dock and come off, and I got a bit loud.
Yeah.
That would make me mad, for sure. And Farmer's going to, I'm sure everybody's heard the story about me taking his spinning rod and reeling it upside down because he reels with the wrong hand. Couldn't do it. Let's see. Pontoon Jody. Let's read the in or out right there, right above it. Last year, November, set the hook and flipped backwards right out of the boat, 46-degree water.
That's a hell of a hook set.
That's a Bill Dance fail.
Yeah.
Setting the hook coming out.
I'm going to say this because it's funny to me. It might not be funny to you fundamentalists, but it was funny to me. I went to a baptizing, not this past Sunday, but the Sunday before. And at our church, when they baptize, we baptize in the Etowah River. So a local kid that came down, he had our pastor used to help be one of the football coaches. So it was one of his former players that now plays at Tennessee Tech. I'm not going to say the name, but anyway, they go down to the river. It's cold as all get-go air temperature-wise. They get in the water, and this is no lie. That kid is just freezing. And Russell says, he does the thing, I baptize thee in the name of the Father, Son, Holy Ghost. When that kid's shoulders hit the water, I'm not lying. He goes, shit. No, it gets even better. It gets even better. When he pulled him up, the F word comes out. So this was that bad. And I said, and I looked at him, I was like, did he say what I thought he said? I thought, now listen.
Did he get dunked again?
No, but listen.
And held down.
Listen. The Lord loves me and he knows I'm a heathen. All right, there. And, there might have been people going like, oh, my gosh. I was dying laughing. I thought that was the funniest thing I'd ever seen because, the Etowah River is cold right now. But that kid did. He just like, oh, shit.
It'll take your breath and your salvation, huh?
Listen, I just think he was excited. And in the moment right there, he was freezing. That kid was shaking, but he's a, 19-year-old, maybe like that. That's the funniest thing I've ever seen.
I bet if he tells all his buddies at school what happened, they're going to find Jesus about July.
Listen, I'm not lying to you. We're all sitting on the banks of a muddy river, and I'm sitting there, and I'm just dying laughing. You know how I am. I got the mental maturity of a 14-year-old sometimes, and I just thought that was the best baptizing I've ever been to in my life. So hey, Lord loves the heathens just like me. I knew Farmer would say me reeling upside down because I can't reel a left-handed reel. I know that was coming out. Taco Bell, hope that wasn't the night you were knuckle deep. No, sir. No, sir. Not that night, but it wasn't long thereafter because it was right about that time COVID hit. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's do our question of the night. Let's let Kevin get ready. Let's talk about our buddies over at Serve IT. Guys, if your company or your business is in need of a complete IT solution, Serve IT is the company for you. They bank everything on absolute awesome customer service from the start of your problem or taking care of your company all the way to the end. They will stick on it till you are satisfied as a company and as a customer. So Serve IT, the best there is around. Our buddy Alan Brooks, that's his company right there, and we all know and love him from the TAA. And I'm telling you, this guy, he's one of the most processed guys in his personal life. Everything's organized in his company, and everything's the exact same way. And also, if you're looking for a change and you think you might have the customer service skills, the attitude to start a job and finish it, and the ability to learn, go to serveit.com, hit careers, tell them you heard about it on Fish North Georgia, and just have a conversation. They can train you if you've got the tools and you got the right attitude. He's looking for outdoorsmen because we like to promote things. We like to talk about things. And I'm telling you what, it just might be what you want to do. So Serve IT, check them out. Now, what I'm going to give away to the winner tonight, I'm going to give away a Spro Rock Crawler 50, and it is Melon Crawl right there. So there are 4 answers, right?
Right.
4 answers to this question. If you got something comment there, hey, go ahead. Yeah, right. I know. I was going to tell everybody about nailing you in the back with that too. if we miss it during this thing, because they got to watch the answers, we'll keep talking, but we'll come back to you. And good luck, everybody, because Kevin's back. And here's the question tonight. He's going to read it 2 times.
Easy question.
Oh, I bet.
All right. What actor in the first Rocky movie played in the NFL? What team did he play for? What position? And how many years did he play? Again, what actor in the first Rocky movie played in the NFL? What team did he play for? What position? And how many years did he play in the NFL?
And I don't know the answer, so I cannot mess it up and give it away. But remember, hey, if you post, you got to, in your answer, you got to have all 4 parts of the question.
In one post.
In one post. They got to be all 4 together in one post. A lot of you guys will go 1, 2, or 3 answers, and then you'll give somebody else, and they'll hit that. They'll have the answer to the 4th part, and they're going to end up beating you. So definitely want to do that.
That's why we didn't tell you the answer.
I know, because I will screw it up. You go, okay, how about?
Nope.
And listen, Cletus, you
Nope.
can't win like that anyway. So you guys keep going. We'll keep, while they're watching, you and I keep talking right here, Dave. So give me a tall tale. Give me something that you heard on the water, or something you lied about, or you heard a lie that you knew wasn't true. Like a tall tale.
God, you asked me this before.
Yeah, I mean, I've got them. Or something happened. Did I ever tell you about the goose beating the crap out of me?
No, I did have a buddy that cows got after.
Cows.
Yeah. So in Venice, they have cows. And apparently down there, there's a lot of these folks don't have fences. They just cut them loose and they're out in the marsh. My buddy had to go to the bathroom. So we pulled up to about the only bulkhead down there, and he gets off, goes up there, goes to the bathroom. I look up, and he's in a full sprint, like Carl Lewis type stuff, back to the boat. I'm like, what is he doing? He leaps and gets the boat. He says, man, let's go, let's go, let's go. I said, what's wrong? He said, the cows are after him. I'm like, what cows? And about that time, here come this herd of wild, like they're pretty much wild cows that had been chasing him. I don't know if he got up there and wore them out a calf or something, but they were about to run him down.
He got chased by a cow.
In Venice, Louisiana.
Hey, Kevin, does that one work for you?
Are you talking about?
So they're looking at the answers.
No.
You gotta have how many years?
How many years did he play?
Okay.
Not what
That's
years did he
what-
play.
That's what I want to make sure.
What about that one?
Which one?
Darian Moss.
No.
Nope.
I don't even know. So you guys keep going. Now, talk about cows. I was dating this girl one time, and her dad had cows, and he had a farm pond out there. So when I was dating her, I'd go over there all the time, and she knew I liked to fish. So she said, house, I'd be down in the pasture fishing. And I had you remember them Volkswagen Rabbit pickup trucks?
Mm-hmm.
You know, the ugly thing. Can't kill them. I had one of those. And 2 times. One time I was sitting there fishing, and here come his cows over to get in the lake and all that. And this one went over there and started scratching its back on the side of that thing, busted both of my side mirrors off, just scratching its back. And then the other time, her mama goes, dinner. And so I leave all my stuff laying there. Cows were nowhere to be found. Ran up there.
Silver Punk's going to get the answer. He's got it.
Silver Punk has it.
Yep.
All right, let me read the answer. Carl Weathers played linebacker for the Oakland Raiders in 1970 and strong safety in 1971. He appeared in 8 games over 2 seasons, but didn't record any stats. Now, Silver Punk, is that what AI told you there?
Well,
that is a very well put together answer.
He was released in 71.
He was released in 71.
Yep.
I think we all knew it was Carl Weathers,
Yes.
but I did not know he played football.
Yep.
There you go, Silver Punk. Hit me on Messenger with your address.
He played 2 years in Canadian. I think it was 2 years in Canadian League after that.
Really? I got big end zones in the Canadian League, and the goalpost is right there at the front. It always messes me up when I try to watch a Canadian Football League game. Silver Punk, yeah, hit me up on Messenger on Facebook with your address, and I'll put it in the mail tomorrow. But back to that story. So I left everything. I go up there and we're eating and all that, and her dad comes home. He stayed outside for a minute or two, didn't think about nothing. Then he come in, and he goes, Danny, yes, sir. Get out here. Go down there. The cows had gotten my tackle box and everything, and his cows had like rapalas hanging from their lips and stuff. That man was pissed off at me bad. You ever try to chase a cow down to get a rapala out of its mouth?
No, I've taken a cat to the vet, though, to get a jig out of its mouth.
Well, about the same thing. A cow does not cooperate with you when you're trying to unhook it and let it go.
No, I did have. We were fishing at a friend of mine's pond one time, and they were big cow people, and they just whatever they do, lop the horns or whatever they do. And I had a red pickup truck at the time, and they got out there. I guess I don't know if it made their horns itch or what it was. So they started, doing this. So you saw cows around the truck, which is not anything uncommon. I got back, and it was white streaks all over that thing. We had to go take it and get it buffed out because it literally was just streaked. I guess
from the horns and all
rubbing
that?
their horns all over. It was all the way around the truck.
I had a buddy who had a horse eat the paint job off his truck.
A horse eat the paint job off his truck. That sucks. Now, I will say this. Have you ever had those moments in life where you scream like a girl? I know we don't like to talk about them, but honestly, can you admit that you've had one or two where you just scream like a girl? And I'll tell you where I'm going with this.
I don't like spiders, so yes.
You don't like spiders? So same guy, his cows break out of his fence and they're in the woods, the neighbor's woods. And he goes, Danny, come on. And I'm like, I'm only there because of his daughter's boobs, I mean, I'm
Right.
like, I have a reason
You're
to be
not
there.
interested in cows.
I'm not interested in cows. I'm not a cowboy. But anyway, I go out there and he gives me a flashlight. There was a hole in the fence. And so we're in these woods. And he goes, I want you to stand right here and I want you to shine the light on the hole in the fence. And I'm going to wrangle all these cows. They're going to see the light. They're going to go right back in the thing. All right. Well, have you ever heard of a herd of cows coming through the woods at night?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's pretty intimidating. All of a sudden, so here comes a cow, here comes a cow. All of a sudden, one comes from behind me. And I turn around and I am face to face with this heifer. And she's about to run my ass over. And I scream like the biggest girl you have ever heard in your entire life. Well, here comes the rest of the herd. They get in there. And then here comes her dad. Of all the commotion going on, what do you think's the one thing he heard?
Your scream.
My scream. It scared the hell out of me. It did. I'm not a cow guy. I always think it's funny too, guys that wear cowboy hats that have never actually been on a horse or worked on a cow farm.
Drugstore cowboys.
Drugstore cowboys.
Yep.
That's what they are. All right, so let's see. All right, let's get back to it. If we're gonna let's see. Did we miss any comments or questions? Ryan had one up above.
I was scrolling looking for
Yeah.
answers.
So Ryan and I were fishing, doing a live, and on the YouTube page, and I was going to skip a Ned rig under a dock. Ryan's in the front of the boat, and he's working the back of the dock in the bank. 1/4 ounce of our weedless Ned heads we make, and I reared back because I wanted to skip it. I threw that joker as hard as I could, and all of a sudden I hear, ugh! I mean, I hit him right square in the back, and I mean, Ryan's a big dude, and he turned around. He how you get your chest sticking out and your shoulders pulled back and everything, like you've been shot. And I just like, I'm sorry, dude. I mean, I know it hurt because I threw it, and it was during the summertime, so he only had a t-shirt on. Oh, dude, I mean, I nailed him. Like one time, if there was ever a time he should have punched me, that was the time he should have punched me right there.
You ever knocked a 3-tier tackle box over in a night tournament inside the boat?
Inside the boat.
Inside the
And
boat.
I bet that drove your ADD or whatever you got,
It
OCD
wasn't
crazy.
my boat. I get invited by a guide back in Kissimmee.
Oh, you did his tackle box. That would be an epic
Yep.
fail right there.
It was because you couldn't see anything at night.
You didn't have a light or nothing.
He had a little flashlight, and that's all he had.
Was you able to get it all back together?
We didn't even try.
Oh, you just kept fishing?
Just kept fishing.
But the whole time in your mind,
He
you're
said,
like,
we'll get it later. I was just nice, never got upset about it or anything, just as nice as could be.
oh, good Lord. I can imagine if that was my dad or my grandfather, I'd have got the crap beat out of me. You ever got hit with one of them old timey trucker hats that like these got the dots on it, the real hard top at the
No, I
But
never
it's
got
not-
hit one of those.
That's what my grandfather would do. First time I ever messed with a trot line. We laid a trot line across the lake, and we're pulling up catfish here, catfish there. And also we get a I call them loggerheads. I don't think they're snapping turtle,
Big turtle.
big turtle. It's just sitting there. He goes, just reach down and grab it by the head and pull it up. And when I'm 12, 13 years old, and I stuck my hand down there to get that thing by the head. I was already apprehensive. And that thing, the head moved and all like that. And I pulled my hand back up like that. My grandfather's laughing like crazy. He goes, get it in the boat. I ain't touching that damn thing. He goes, get it in the boat. No, sir, not doing it. About that time, that old daggum quart of entire hat come off and he was hitting me. So I'm getting hit by his hat. And I reached in and grabbed that turtle. And so I pick it up. We're in a 14-foot John boat, just aluminum John boat. All right, now where the hell do I put it? So I threw it right there I was supposed to put it in the back compartment. I threw it right there in the middle where his tackle box and everything is, and it was mass chaos for about 10 minutes. And I don't know if my grandfather ever got in a boat with me again after that. It tore everything he had up, and I'm trying to get out of the boat best I could because that's when I experienced how mean one of those things are. Now, you're a Louisiana boy. You probably knew that from birth. It was probably born into you.
Yeah, we used to catch them crawling across the road. They really good eating.
Turtle's good.
I bet he was severely turtling too. Yeah, listen, I'm telling you, it was funny now that I look back on it, but I was honestly, that was one of the scariest moments I've ever had in a boat. Because that joker was like, if I hold my arms out, I mean, it legit was one of them big old nasty ones that you see.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was terrible. All right, let's see.
You ever had a snake in a boat with you?
I wonder. I know one time I did. Me and him were
No,
fishing.
I mean a real snake.
No, it was with you. Yeah. Yeah, it was with you. We were fishing night time on Alatoona. And all of a sudden I looked down and I knew where right there where I would sit, and how you know how rods go lean on the passenger side of a boat now. I always get starboard and port, all that shit mixed up. But anyway, where my rods laid, it was dark, and I just noticed something kind of like that strap wasn't there a little while ago. I'm laughing. It scared vapor lock. Listen, it scared the ever loving shit out of me. Kevin, you got a snake in the boat like that. But it was just there. We don't know where we picked it up, did we?
Oh,
he's done. He's done. It must have been far funnier for him than it was for me because it scared the hell out of me. But it wasn't a big snake.
It was a snake.
It was a snake.
But we don't know how long that thing could have been riding with us all night for all I know. But could you imagine if
you sat down?
If I had sat down and you're driving and all of a sudden I got something crawling up my leg, I'd have been out of that boat in a heartbeat. Oh. Yeah, I don't do snake. I don't mind snakes if I can see them. But hell, when Alatoona gets dark.
Well, there was no light.
There was no light. You didn't have, there was nothing. But there was just, what's the inside of your boat? Your boat's white.
Red.
White. It was just, I could see it.
The
silhouette of it. But I thought it was a strap that had just blowed up. You strap your rods down.
Ain't no strap like that on that Ranger.
Well, so I'm sitting there thinking that, and in my mind, I'm playing this because, like, first of all, I'm petrified to be on his boat because it's so clean, But I'm sitting there thinking, like, what the hell is that, Kevin? Buddy, we got a problem right here. So let's see. Fail over 13 months, had 3 rods stolen and broke 3. One prior to that in my lifetime. Knock on wood, I've never had anything stolen. As far as fishing stuff like that, my grandfather would beg to differ because I stole from him all the time. Mm-hmm. I learned how to bait cast with his what's them old ambassadors that they're round
5500s?
Is that the red one? What was the red one? But you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
about. Listen, that might be why I can't cast worth of crap now because you can't put a worm on that thing. It's like more like a catfish rod. Like you just let the bail out and just kind of let it go.
That's a shiner reel.
It was a shiner reel. Well, I beat that thing all up and down the banks on my daddy's pond trying to learn how to throw a bait caster with that.
They're hard to learn.
No, it was terrible. And I don't think I've ever done that. Now, Farmer, how about this one? Worst day on the water I ever had was I took a hook to the nuts.
And he couldn't get anybody to come jerk it out with him.
Now listen. Again, guys, it's not me. It's the people I hang out with. You need to come to a baptism with me or something like that, Kevin, like that.
That's no better.
Hey, it's Dawson County. We just do it that way. But I did have a buddy, Mason Waters, and he won't mind me telling this. He was fishing a tournament at Gunnersville. It was at Gunnersville, and he had a jerk bait. 7:30 in the morning, he's working his jerk bait, gets a bite, sets the hook. Whiffs on the fish. The jerk bait lands right in his shin. Hooks him. I mean, we're talking deep. Can't pull it out. That crazy joker fished the rest of the day with a jerk bait hanging out of had shorts on with a jerk bait hanging out of his shin, and then went and got to the hospital or the doctor and got it cut out after the tournament. Now, could you imagine fishing with a jerk bait?
You didn't cut the hook or nothing?
I'd have cut it down to where there's nothing but the hook in there.
Yeah. But I can't imagine doing it.
He might have, but still, you had a hook in your leg, in your shin,
You're tougher than I am.
in your shin. Now he got big legs.
It don't
He
matter.
he got stumps. He ain't got no ankles. He ain't got no ankles. It's
I
like
wonder
a
how
solid
Farmer-
oak tree that goes down, and he's got toes at the end of it.
I wonder how Farmer got the hook out.
Yep, Farmer, how did you get the hook out of your nuts?
A braided trick, a braided line trick.
You know what? Now, I'm friends, and I'm a loyal friend, and I probably would try to help him out as best I could.
Who's going to hold the other end of the trouble?
That's
down?
what I'm saying. Listen, that's what I'm saying. It's like, ain't you supposed to take one end of the trouble and press it down when you pull it with the braid?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, Farmer, is this how's this feel? And now here's the thing, because I would help the brother out. I'd do the braid trick. I would try. I'm secure in my masculinity. But could you imagine if you're a boat coming into that cove somewhere and I'm on my knees and I got my hands up and he's probably got both hands on his head, you know, 'cause he's in pain.
Jerk it.
And all of a sudden, do it fast, Danny. And all of a sudden, I rip that thing out.
Jerk it hard.
And think about this from a distance now. You're a guy pulling in. First of all, you see that sight, and now you see, and he's probably a hallelujah, hands over his head, screaming because it hurt. Not a good look. Not a good look, gentlemen, right there.
And
But
you only got one shot on that.
Yeah.
Man, I guess.
That's all he's going to give him.
man, think about that. Think about having a hook in your nuts.
Mm. Mm.
And then I said, I told the vasectomy thing, and that didn't hurt, you know, with the shot. But you get a hook in a barb in me, and I'm probably going to die.
Mm.
Oh, I pulled a lot of hooks out of people. Luckily, not me, but it ain't good.
If I got a hook in my nuts, Dave, would you help me?
You holding?
And listen, you ain't supposed to have but like what 6 inches of that braid right there. He's a foot and a half, you know, like dude, you got slack in the line.
I'm gonna slackline.
You don't slackline me. Don't slackline me. Oh Lord, Farmer, that's awful, dude. That's awful. Silver Punk. Let's get off the nut topic. I got to the boat ramp, unloaded the kayak, had everything all set up, sitting in the water, went to get in and realized I had forgotten my seat. Now listen.
That's about what I fish out of when I got my kayak.
Yeah. I mean, the seat's a very important thing to have in your kayak right there. So we see all these things. We're still, we got to go on down, get on past all the thing. Nick B. I store my rods vertically on the kayak. I messed up a cast one time and got my line tangled in all 6 of my rods. Had to go to the bank and spend 30 minutes untangling it all. Definite fail, but definitely I would think that happens more often than people will admit to, because them things are right behind you.
Yeah, that's been weird. Like I said, I've been playing around with the kayak a little bit. Like I said, mine's, as Alex would say, not a real kayak. But you got to pay. I have to pay attention to where I usually only take 2 rods. I have to pay attention to where I put a rod so that I'm not getting into.
Oh, yeah.
There's not a lot of room. That's for sure.
Yeah. There's not a lot of room for error. Now, that kayak you got that you're talking about, that's not a real kayak, Alex says.
Yeah.
Is that like the orange Armada that everybody got from Walmart and stuff?
No, this was a little more expensive. It was my wife found them online. We bought them for my kid. And I made her get me one that was a fishing kayak, or so I thought. I don't know anything about kayak. But it's got 2 holes kind of behind you where you can stick a rod.
Yeah, you got to be real careful with that.
But the bad thing is, and I don't fish out of it very much, you're sitting down basically flat.
Yeah, you don't have a seat.
I don't have that elevated seat. If I had
Yeah.
an elevated seat, it's actually kind of cool. I enjoy fishing out of it. But
Just get you a milk crate.
I can get something.
Get something. Cody Campbell, I snatched my dad's Costa. I snatched my dad's Costas off his head with a beetle spin when I was about 6.
That ain't good.
Close call with that, definitely. Guggen Slayer. I have hooked 2 in the mouth. And I want to say he's hooked 2 people in the mouth.
Maybe.
You think he's hooked? Explain that comment a little bit more for me right there. Let's see. Tony Hall stuck a chug bug, both hooks in the back of my partner's head this year. Thank goodness he didn't whip my tail. Listen, that's painful. Silver Punk, I buried a rooster tail in the back of my head, and my buddy had to cut it out with his pocket knife.
Yeah, we getting.
That's a man.
That's like Surge. That's like Rambo stuff where he sews up his, he makes his own stitches and everything.
Yeah.
You're getting it cut out.
That's not fun. I've had stitches twice, and I did it myself both times. So.
Oh
It's not
Lord.
cool.
Pontoon Jody, I anchored next to the bank under some trees fishing for flatheads, but all I found were those big yellow hornets. And I was on a live swatting and screaming and running from those hornets. Does that footage still exist, Pontoon Jody? I would like to see that if we could find that. Now listen, I've gotten into bees' nests and stuff, but it was like on my dad's farm pond.
Well, we had the bees. We had the bees that got in my buddy's boat that time. I think we talked about that. We fished out of it the day before, saw nothing, and took it the next morning. He went out there to clean it up or whatever, and there was bees swarming around it. And he backed up and kind of looking. They were going like in the passenger rod box. So he ended up taking it to the dealership. It cost him like $300, and they pulled a honeycomb. It was honeybees, the length of the rod box from like the front of the rod box back to the console out of it.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. He didn't get the honey. He didn't get the comb. All he got was a bill.
Bill, yeah. We had my dad had old cedar house, the cedar siding, back in the day when we lived in Forsyth County, and honeybees got in to the wall, and it was on the second story. So we would actually sit on our back deck and watch the honeybees kind of go in and out. Well, eventually he wanted to put one of them French doors there, and they built him a deck. But when they cut it out, there was the comb or whatever you want to say, basically was the
Wow.
height of the wall and everything between those two studs. Crazy like that. And the only reason they got out, we weren't going to mess with them. Flying squirrels were in there before. And we were sitting out one night, and all of a sudden them flying squirrels just took off. You ever seen a flying squirrel?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Crazy little critters. But the bees had run the squirrels out. So the squirrels had got in there and I guess made it open. Now this is funny right here. Ryan Sheffield. Me and a buddy were fishing one time years ago, and he opened up his tackle storage and a rat jumped out. Now, a mouse is one of them critters that if I see it, I'm fine. I can catch it, I'm fine. But if you're like me, you're trying to catch one of them things, and all of a sudden they make a little beeline right at you, you think a pit bull is coming at you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm not scared of you, but I'm scared of you the whole time. Like all of a sudden it's going to jump up and just start chewing my leg off or something like that. Anthony Hampton, I had to whip an otter with a fishing rod on tuna this past fall trying to get in the boat. Very interesting. Them beavers sometimes too, when they splash their tail and give you that warning shot. I did have one swim like almost right up to the boat before he decided to, he didn't wet me, but his splash hit the boat. He was that close. So I really didn't know. The Red Ambassador was a $5,000 Doc Holiday said. So yeah, leave those otters alone, Anthony. Surprise backpacker, Green Wacky. I just moved to Jasper. Looking forward to being back home to fish Lanier, Carter's, and Blue Ridge, the home lakes. And listen, a Green Wacky is a perfect way to do that. So Cody Campbell had a DT6 fly out of a tree. Didn't hook me, but the side of it landed flat on my thigh and left a perfect outline of a DT6. Absolutely. Oh, hey, we found out how Farmer got it. Listen, here's your man.
Oh, my God.
Pushed it through, and it was a worm hook.
Man. Okay.
You got some saggy nuts, dude.
That hurts thinking.
Listen, I mean, you know how your balls draw up every once in a while? Like when you're cold?
Yep.
So what would be more painful, to do that when they're tight or when they're loose? What would you think?
Either way.
Either way.
Hey, he's got a couple kids, so it didn't hurt him too bad.
That eye on the hook.
Was this pre or post kids?
Who knows?
Gosh, dog, man, I'm telling you. I know we didn't, we were talking about epic fails, but I mean, that's a painful fail right there. Did it hurt? How about that, Farmer? Did it hurt? And did you cry? That's what I want to know. Back in 92, we fished a quarry. While we were in there, the wind blew all of the water out of the channel. We got stuck on a sandbar and had to get flown out by the Maryland State Police helicopter in a basket. That sucks. That sucks right there. I wonder what our cops would do if something like that happened. You can get stranded on Carter's Re-Reg Lake. That's that little lake that pumps back in and out of Carter's Lake. And so when it's full, it might be, I don't know. I mean, it's a fairly good sized lake. I don't know if it's 1,000 acres, but it's a good sized lake. But when they start generating back in, they pull the water out of it. And so if you're all the way on the other end, when they start pulling that water back and you're in a john boat with paddles, you're stuck. And lots of guys get stuck out there, but I don't know how many of them ever got floated out by a helicopter in a basket. Ron Swinford. This summer at Tuna, a guy trolled over to me and my dad. He had a shower blow stuck in his finger. I had to get in his boat and push the hook through, then cut it. He screamed a little. That would hurt. You know, that's like a paper cut. I've broken a few rods because they stick up, Alex says, on the kayak. So, yeah, for sure. Let's see. They were both fishing in tournaments, and he was alone. So, and not of right there. Okay, here we go. Last year, my partner had to go number 2. Went up into the woods, came back a few minutes later. There was a god-awful smell. He stepped in it and tracked it all over my boat. Kevin, you would die. Oh, my Lord.
Kevin be at the nearest Ranger dealership the next morning.
He'd get his carpet replaced.
Oh,
100%. That's pretty rough.
doubt.
That's rough.
Yes, man.
I've stepped in a lot of it, but I've never stepped in my own. Now, we did have the Kiefer moment where I bathed in my own, but I've never stepped in it. Had a partner put a buzz bait in my face this year. That one hurt too. Buzz bait got a big old hook, boys.
Yeah.
Buzz bait got a
Got
big
a lot
old
of weight to it. Too.
Listen, and when I was fishing with Ryan, because Ryan's 6'9" with a wingspan of probably got a 7-foot wingspan. And if you ever watch Ryan likes to throw sight on him. He casts, he's whipping that thing. And I don't know how many, he never hit me. I think he hit me one time with a fluke on top of it, but I don't know how many times I have honestly felt the wind come back and go back and forth. And he's like, I know where you're at, but I'm like, dude, that's close. And he's throwing hard. He ain't just kind of lollygagging it out there. I think, hey, listen, that what you okay,
Randy.
Who's
Randy
Callahan? I loaded my boat with a trolling motor. Epic fail. I loaded my boat with a trolling motor down. Hey, listen, I think it happens more often than you think. That night, Pontoon Jody was dealing with all those yellow jackets. She got her personal best blue pounder that night, 57 pounds. So that's pretty awesome. Dennis Rice, it's brass and glass time. These conditions is where it's the best. So brass and glass, Carolina rig. I'm going to be throwing it this weekend, and that's the thing about it is it's just I don't throw it a lot. I've caught a few fish on it. I'm just hoping, like, if I have to break it out, I hope it works. Now, let me ask you this serious question before we get to the comments again. What would you target with the Carolina rig this time of year? And you throw it all the time, Kevin. Like right now, what would you target? Would you target deep off the points? Old road bed in the middle of a ditch?
Road bed, ditch, any type of point coming out.
Just your basic stuff.
Yep.
And just drag it slow and hope the rod loads up.
Real slow. Okay. All right. In, not of. Lost a bet. My partner caught lunker of the day. I had to stand on a tree limb out in 60 foot of water with my pants down and sing the Star Spangled Banner. Damn, dude, I don't know about you Maryland boys right there. You're getting flown out in helicopters and baskets, and you're naked singing the Star Spangled Banner.
I wonder if, in not of, do you have a sister named Maggie? That might be.
I don't know.
That might be who I just started working at our company from Maryland.
In not of, do you have a sister named Maggie? And I'm not asking for me.
She's a nice girl.
Let us know in the comment section. And to think people pay money at Pearson shops to have someone put a hook through their junk.
That's true.
Not that I've ever seen it, but
you've seen it.
I've seen it. The females that do that. Holy Toledo.
The males do it.
I ain't worried about the males. I don't watch those. I don't watch none of it now.
Well, you get hooks
I don't
out.
watch none of it now. Got to cause a yeast infection or something down there. You got to get some kind of. Oh no, I can't. I can't handle that. You got to bring up like the things to the boobs. Like y'all talked to my wife earlier today. Not about that, but what I'm saying is, every once they get those barbell things in there.
I didn't.
She thinks that. No, you didn't. But she thinks that is the dumbest thing in the world. Like, why anybody would ever want to do that?
I don't understand it.
And the guys down there doing it, no, sir.
Mm-mm.
No, sir. And the tattoos. I mean, I got a tattoo on my arm. Could you imagine a guy tattooing your junk?
I can't. I don't have a tattoo. I never got into the tattoo thing.
Well, I mean, just still. We're throwing Brian Justice. We're throwing a jitterbug at night, and one of those beavers smacked the water. Treble hooks flying everywhere. Yeah, I mean, that I can believe. Jitterbug, that's your bait. Kevin. You
At
love a
night.
jitterbug.
Yep. At night.
People do not throw the jitterbug near as much as they should. Farmer said he was 19 or 20. It was pre-kids.
Oh, well, it still works.
It still worked. Well, yeah, I guess he didn't. He
Twice.
didn't do that. Oh my God! Pull up Jeremy Tyson's comment right there. My buddy's little girl took a dump in his live well.
Hey, if you get a kid on a boat, they.
I guess,
wherever they
I
want.
wonder, if she said, "Daddy, I gotta go,"
Yeah.
and then it makes sense. That makes sense.
Just-
Or if you're up front fishing and you just turn around and your kid's taking a dump in the live well. Hey, I guess it happens right there. I don't know if that's an epic fail, but very interesting for sure right there. So, not of, say again, no, sir, no
Nope.
sister named Maggie. So not the
Somebody
same
else.
one.
All right.
He was wondering, we talked about that the other night because you showed up from Maryland and he had been talking about a lady that's working there who
podcast,
has
yeah.
a brother that likes to fish. So that's why we were wondering. Cody Campbell. Serious question. What area of the lake, north, central, or south, would you start right now just to catch a couple of spots? Have a guy from Florida coming up who wants to get his first Lanier spot. I would tell you normally south, but again, everybody that's been talking about Lake Lanier lately is like, it's just fishing tougher. I mean, I would find some rocky. The easiest thing to do, I think, would be just find some rock and throw a shaky head on it slow just to try to pick up a fish.
Yeah, some of those ditches will have. I fished the Little Hall area more than I fish anywhere else on Lanier. I would start up there. There's some
Mid Lake
ditches around
Central,
Little
yeah.
Hall. They usually have a few fish in them. But,
One good thing to try is fish around where a lot of tournaments go in and out of. That's always a possibility.
Little Hall.
It's always a possibility. Farmer carries a porta potty for that reason. Makes sense. It makes sense. All right, Tony. Epic fail or tall tail?
Well, I don't know. Let's see. Let me think about it for a
You
minute.
think about
Let
it?
me
Did I
think about
catch
it.
you off guard
Caught
back
me
there?
off guard a little bit.
Oh, I was going to tell you about the goose. Remember me mentioning it earlier?
Oh,
I got
yeah.
the crap beat out of by a goose. There was a trailer park beside where we grew up that had two lakes. They're both about 5-6 acres. Out in one was a little island. Okay, so they were having to do some work on the spillway of that lake, so they lowered it. So I guess that island normally, when the lake was at full pool, was about 40 yards out there, and it wasn't very deep to get to it. We're talking like 2-3 feet, and then there was this little island, and then it dropped off kind of afterwards. Old tree stump. So they lowered the lake. Me and my cousin got permission to fish over there, and I was like, okay, now's my time to actually get out there to that island and be able to cast into the deep water. I was probably, 14, 15 years old at the time. So here I go flying because it's muddy. I am flying, running as fast as my little feet will carry me. And the last thing I jumped up on the island, well, it was kind of bushy. And that island, I would say, was probably about an 8-foot diameter little island. And I hear this. All right, I don't know what in the hell is going on. All of a sudden, this goose just sticks her head up. She had a nest on that island. So I turn around, and that thing is on the back of my neck, just flogging me right back through the mud for 40 yards. Beat the ever-loving daylights out of me. My cousin's laughing like crazy. The one time I got whipped by a bird.
Geese are mean.
Geese
man.
are mean.
My grandmother had one. It used to chase everybody when they were tame, not Canadian geese, regular, homegrown geese, whatever they call them. And everybody, they'd get out the car and the sucker would attack. We had been up to doing something, and my aunt pulled in, and my grandma was like, go out there and help them get in with the goose and all the things. Goose didn't like me more than they, didn't like me the best either. So we're out there and we're fighting this goose. And my aunt played tennis, and she was trying to get something out of the trunk. She popped the trunk, and that goose is just eating her up. She had her tennis racket there. I figured out what to do with a goose. A tennis racket and a goose. He would still attack everybody else, but he knew me and the tennis racket.
Yeah.
I never had a problem with that goose again. I could pull up there and he'd walk up there and he'd see me get out of the truck and he'd go right back wherever he come from.
He learned.
I flipped him.
Yeah. I did watch my father-in-law do hand-to-hand combat. I say hand-to-hand combat. He had a boat paddle with a goose one time up at the R Ranch because they had also, too, similar sized lake, had an island in the back. And I always wanted to fish artificial, and he always got his shiners. So I would always take him in the canoe because that's all they had up there. Drop him off. He'd set up the most style folding lawn chairs. He had his gallon iced tea and his 2 packs of Marlboros and his minnows, and he would just sit there and throw his shiners out. and there was always a goose they were always going to bed over there, have their nest and all that. But I'm out there and I just hear this awful commotion. And he had a boat paddle, and because when he got out, he had it in his hand, so he had his boat paddle. And I look back and he is just waxing on that goose with that boat paddle. And they're tough.
Oh yeah,
they're tough, and that probably went on for about 35, 40 seconds. And then finally, how they do, they just kind of flog their wings up and they walk back over there. But that was pretty funny watching them. Goose is a mean critter. Let's see. Cody Campbell saw a loon for the first time on forward-facing sonar. Had me mighty confused for a minute. Yeah. Have you seen that video? And I can't think of the guy's name. He lives up around Carter's Lake. Brent, it might be his name. His kid hooked a loon on an underspin. Actually hooked it while fishing, throwing out, and the loon got his underspin. They got it all on video, and they fought that joker and fought it and fought it and fought it. Got it in the boat. Got the loon in the boat. Then they had to sit, he had to basically sit on the bird and unhook it, and then he released it. It's about a 5-minute video.
Really?
I can't think of his last name. But, I saw the video, so pretty interesting. In that pulled boat out, unaware front latch hook came off. Entire boat slid off trailer and was pointing at the sun. Weight of the boat was resting on the lower unit. Had to buy a new Ray electric motor. And them Rays are not cheap. So I've seen that. We see it every year on Facebook or something like social media. All the time. People do that. And it's like, we know better. We know better.
Yeah.
Tony, have you thought your thing yet? Or are you just hoping like hell I won't come back to you?
I've got one. One.
Is it an epic fail or a tall tale?
It's kind of a tall tale. So it's kind of more, I thought it was impressive at the time. So when I was a kid, we were in church and we had Royal Ambassadors. I don't know if y'all remember that RAs back in the day. So I went on the trip and my dad went with me, and my dad did not fish. He hated fishing. I don't know where I got the bug from, but I always loved it. Anyway, we go out, we go to a lake. I don't remember which one it was. And we're standing on the bank. All the other kids have their fancy fishing rods and their tackle boxes and all this stuff. My dad picks up a handful of line that's wadded up on the ground, takes it and wraps around a beer can that's sitting there, puts a hook on it, and catches the only fish of the whole trip.
With a beer can?
With a beer can.
That was his float?
No, he just used it as a reel.
As a reel? The beer can was his reel?
He just tossed the line out there, got a worm or a cricket or something. I don't remember what, but I always thought that was pretty cool. It was the only fish caught the whole time we were there.
Really?
Yep.
You remember what I told you about beforehand? I said I didn't know if I could say about it on the thing. How I caught that fish that one time?
I don't remember.
I told you. You probably don't remember it.
No, I'm drawing a blank.
All right. So the most interesting fish I've ever caught.
Oh, yes, I do. I do remember.
I'll have to clean it up.
Yeah, you'll have to clean that.
I'm about to clean it up. I'm dating a girl. Go out in a John boat. We're fishing. Doing what teenagers do. You know what I'm saying?
You weren't fishing.
Well, I was, but I wasn't.
He was noodling.
I was noodling a little bit. I had my rod stuck over the side of the boat.
Give him more room.
Give him more room. Right in the middle of it. My rod goes, blah, blah. And I set the hook. It was a crappie. I mean, I had a mint on, but right in the middle of being of teenage love. You ever done that on a boat?
Nope.
Have you ever wanted to do it on a boat?
You talking about catching a crappie?
He is avoiding that like the plague, ain't he?
Oh,
It's a farm pond, dude. So
I've never caught the crappie.
You never caught the Okay, I get what you're saying right there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, seriously, true story.
Mine is too.
Yeah, true story though. It was like I can't even remember if that like killed the vibe or what. I don't remember the rest of it. You ever had that happen, Dave?
No, I have not had that happen.
Have you not?
You didn't catch crappie
You
either?
didn't catch crappie either?
No.
Anthony Hampton, everything I do starts with an F except hunting. Yeah, I guess. Won a bass boat with Claude Fishburne back in '93. Remember him?
Sure
I do remember him.
Yep.
I do remember him.
He's still around. He does some stuff with Joe Thomas.
Yeah, Joe Thomas.
The angler on tour, and that dude's made a freaking living off
Everybody else.
Off everybody
Yeah,
else.
his grandma used to pay for all his entry fees and everything.
Well, I think Steele still does. He won the All-American.
Joe Thomas did.
Yep.
Yep.
And got on the FLW and somehow got to bass, and he had a show, and he's made his living in the outdoor off that one tournament win, and made a pretty good living. He's always off somewhere hunting or fishing or
That's what I want to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. What's the name of his show?
It used to be Angler on Tour.
It's something else now where they
Still
compete against each
reeling
other.
outdoors.
No, it's something else where the two anglers, there's like 8 of them and they compete and get knocked
Ultimate
off.
match fishing.
Yeah.
That's right. Team Grandma.
Yep, Team Grandma.
Team Grandma. Why do they call it Team Grandma?
Because she paid for everything.
Oh, I got what you said. Okay, I got you. I remember the Fishburne guy. I'm not too sure about the other guy right there. So, craziest thing you've seen on the water while fishing?
Still reeling out.
Still real
That's his other show.
in the outdoors. Okay, yeah.
A nice guy. I actually met him at Raver.
Really?
When we were fishing. Really nice guy. Craziest thing.
And you can answer that question too, Kevin.
Kevin, you go.
It could have been an epic fail or something from somebody else. Like, have you ever seen anybody else other than dropping a boat off a thing?
Let me think. I've seen a fight in the locks.
In the locks.
In the locks. Yep.
Two guys on the same boat or two guys in two different boats?
Different boats.
Really?
Yeah, going at it inside the locks.
Did you ever find out why they were fighting?
Well, I know they were fighting, bumping into each other.
Well, it's kind of hard not to do in the locks sometimes, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because they cram so many in there. I mean, Toho locks are small.
Wasn't there a couple pros that happened to a few years ago?
Yep.
Who was that pro angler that got?
There was 2 of them. You're not talking about Iaconelli and the time he broke the light.
No, I don't think
Now,
Ike was in this.
They had an issue a couple years
On
ago
Toho.
when they ran that no wake and wrecked.
No, that's not what I'm
this
thinking.
is on Toho. They were in the locks. They got in a
remember.
fight.
The one that you watched or the one I'm
The
talking
one
about?
that you're talking about.
Ish. There you go. Anthony Hampton. Ish and Poche. That's right.
Yep.
I don't remember. Did it come to blows?
I don't know if it did come to blows or not. I don't think it did.
I know they got angry at each other for doing it. Keith Poche, yeah. So I just remember that. Anyone ever leave a strap on rear?
Oh, hell yeah.
Leave one.
yes.
Oh, Craftmaster. Anyone ever leave one strap on rear tournament morning?
And forget to take your cover straps off, your strap.
Yeah. Now I will say this. This is a true story. Now, luckily, it was in the summertime. I had an old Pro Craft, and we were backing in. We were fishing out of War Hill. Backed it in, and I forgot to put the plug in.
Oh, we've all done that.
Yeah, but I was able to just jump in there and do that. Luckily, it was warm now. But,
Yeah,
Yeah,
now
we
it's
got
easy.
the
Oh, yeah.
switches.
listen,
I did that one day. at
93
Gunnersville.
Pro Craft didn't have that.
I dropped my wife and kid in. I dropped them in, pulled up, power pole down, went and I had to go a ways to find a parking spot over there at Waterfront. Came and all of a sudden she starts hollering. I'm like, "What's wrong? This thing's pumping water."
Oh, yeah.
The bilge, automatic bilge pumped on.
Yeah.
She's like, "Are we gonna sink them?" No, we're not gonna sink them over there. And just turned. I said, "I'll quit pumping in a minute."
Yeah, quit pumping. I
That's the best thing ever on a boat.
ooh.
Yeah.
All right, so Ron Swinford, hit Ron's first. Saw 2 guys throwing punches under a bridge at Weiss, both drunk as skunks, fighting over a fishing spot. They both fell in the water. That probably happens a lot, especially with bank. You know, hey, listen, that's prime real estate territory, and you got to be a man and get your spot right there. So,
Yes.
hey, you ever seen them pictures? All them guys like fly fishing in the river and some of them places where it's really crowded. And there's like 822 guys on 1 acre of river.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like how they do that without people killing each other and getting mad, I have no idea. In, not of, dead body. Lady committed suicide at the lake, ruined my day. That would be a tough one.
Yeah.
Now I've pulled up on deer in the water.
Yep.
You know, dead deer. I've seen that quite a few times. I've seen it over on Latham several times. I have not run into a dead body. Have any of you guys ever experienced anything like that?
Nope.
And I hope never to.
No.
I hope never to. Tony,
No.
No?
No.
could you imagine? Could you imagine you just beating the bank with a buzz bait and you go around this little thing and all of a sudden there's somebody laying there?
It happens every year.
Yeah,
It happens every year.
I
Luckily,
saw a video on YouTube the other day. Guys were kayaking. I don't know where they were at. So I think they're up north somewhere, and they had to call it in and stay right there in the water until they got because it was in the middle of the lake or a river. And I was like, man, that'd be crazy to see.
it would be. It would be. But you know how many times like somebody goes missing and generally a fisherman
I've scanned.
Yeah.
I've helped them scan on Hartwell.
scan.
Now, so we didn't see this happen, but we were at Altoona. It's been several years ago, and it was during the summertime. We went for a night fishing trip. The buddy that threw his fish back, and his nephew. Anyway, they're partying on the docks and stuff, and we're fishing, and we leave. And probably 30 minutes later, we see all the ambulance and fire truck and everything coming down the hill. A lady had fell into the water while we were all fishing. They were all partying. She fell in the water. Nobody knew she was there, and she ended up passing away. But we didn't know.
That's awful.
Yeah, we didn't know she was there.
That's awful. It's always, you never want to hear about that, but still, I can't imagine just being fishing. And
2 out of the 3 people on the boat were cops. Me and my buddy were cops, and we had, honestly, just had no idea. They were just partying. So
and you don't know. You don't know.
Yeah.
That's one of them things. But Ron Swinford, we have been on the water twice at Tuna when someone has died. Once near to the place they're searching for the body. That's and you said you had scanned and helped people look.
Yeah, I was at Hartwell one day.
I was asked to scan, and I won't say where it was at because I think it's still going on and all that. But they called it off the day before we were supposed to go scan and all that. So it would have been interesting. Last year, my buddy was educating a guy at the ramp for having his high beams on. A few hours later, he was giving him a few hours later, he was giving him mouth to mouth. He passed away. Wow. Now, I will say this. That is a big no-no to do at the ramp. Backing down in the morning with your lights on, that probably causes more arguments or at least people yelling before a tournament starts than anything out there. Atlanta Outdoors, appreciate you joining us tonight. There you go. Tournament fisher I knew in my hometown was pleasure fishing on Sinclair and found a guy's abandoned boat spot locked. They found the owner's body later.
It happens.
It does happen. Wow. Pontoon Jody. Last Friday, I launched my boat and I went back to untie the rope from the trailer. It wasn't there. I forgot to tie off. I had to go swim for the boat in 36-degree water temp and still fished my show.
Wow.
You're tougher than I am.
I almost had to do that last year. I tied it up to Charleston, and the wind was blowing, and it swung around. I never tied up to the nose. I usually tie it to the console of the steering wheel.
Yeah.
And it pulled loose. Luckily, there was somebody there. It took me out there and let me get it.
36-degree water.
I see the guys launching with the trolling motors that they can auto deploy, or they can put it in the water and leave it off the dock, and they'll call it back to them. I'm like, you guys got a lot more faith in technology than I do.
Now I've done that. I take a spot lock and move it out there and do it. I used to do it when I was captain for high school.
I want to, but I just my luck.
Listen, it'd be my luck that it just decides. No.
That's exactly. My
and
dog
it would be on a windy day.
Me.
Now, I do know one time me and Josh were fishing, and Atlanta Outdoors knows if I think it's the same guy, and I'm not sure, but maybe it is, maybe it's not. But Varner, one of the better-known electric-only lakes. Now, listen, it could be dead calm the entire southeast, but it's going to be windy on Varner. And we had fished that whole day, and it was windy as crap the whole day. Well, of course, electric-only. You got batteries where our batteries died. And so we're trying to putt back to the ramp. Our trolling motor's turning about, one spin every 2 seconds, But luckily the wind was taking us to the boat ramp. The only problem was when we got to the boat ramp, we couldn't turn it, and it wouldn't let us stop. So there is a bank, like a sharp little turn and a bank, and it got us turned basically sideways and was just beating us into that bank. And we couldn't, we had no power to get out. So Josh had to get out because they were waiting in, run through the woods up to where everybody's waiting, borrow a 12-volt battery, bring it back down to me and let us hook it up, because that's when we first started this. All we had was a little 12-volt trolling motor on the front, and that's how we ended up having to load the boat. But the wind was so bad that we had no control. And I think in the MPFL last year, they had that guy, and I forget the angler's name, but it was up on one of them northern stretches, one of them, wherever they were out up north that has a lot of current, and his boat died. Trolling motor, he was using everything died, and they almost had to call the Coast Guard to find him. But it was like 12 miles downstream from when his last reported spot was.
Yeah, some of those places like St. Lawrence River, so much current.
They changed the rules, I think, this year too. Because I think what it was his boat died. He told somebody about it, and I don't know if they went to get help or was going to come back, and they were going to maybe come back and tow him in. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on this story, but he decided to keep fishing a little bit with his trolling motor. So he was going up places to fish, and his trolling motor died. So by the time that boat got back to pull him back to weigh in, he was gone. Something like that happened right there. John G. Back in high school. Okay, I make sure I was reading that. Okay, I want to make sure. Back in high school, me and a girlfriend were swimming in an apartment pool. Some other people were there drinking. We left to go eat, came back, and found a lady floating.
Yeah.
This turned into like a we
got more.
went from hooking the nuts to death. So this went way crazy. Milliken did a video last year of a tournament angler passing away during a tournament. So yeah. Oh no, this is let's see. This is pretty funny. Jeremy Tyson. My buddy put a one-eyed baby doll in my live well before a tournament. Went to throw our first fish in it and about jumped out of the boat. That would scare the daylights out of me too. That's a good idea. I think I'm gonna save that one. Little snake action. Yeah, do that. But I mean, Jason Jones. Whoo, hey, made it late. Well, we appreciate you joining us. You've missed quite an interesting conversation here over the last couple of minutes. So. But that is one thing I hope never to do is come across a dead body on a bad wreck or something like that.
Done enough of it.
Yeah, I bet you. Pontu Jody's laughing about that thing. Can you imagine what that would be like though to open
little Chucky doll?
Little Chucky, and it's Chucky doll. That's right. It's one-eyed, just staring at you. So I know we've got a room in our house for our great niece to come over, and anytime my wife's babysitting, we call it the kids' room. Well, every once in a while, just for no reason out of the blue, one of them damn toys I'll be sitting on the couch watching a basketball game or something. Everybody else is in the bed, and one of them toys will start talking.
No, sir. They end up in the yard.
I'm serious.
I've done it.
You know what I'm talking about.
Play with that.
It will start. And listen, I don't believe in ghosts or none of that stuff like that. I'm not much afraid of anything, but it is an eerie feeling to be sitting in your house, and all of a sudden you're like, "Call the doctor!" Just something stupid like that. You're kind of like.
Yeah,
my daughter had a Cookie Monster toy, and it, me love cookies.
Yeah,
that joker got punted out the back door. I got tired of that.
You ever had that tickle me Elmo?
Yeah,
Elmo ticklish, whatever the hell it is like that. Yeah, so that's a good idea. Put a mannequin head in your live well for your buddy to find. We may have just started the latest TikTok trend.
Yeah.
We need to do that, but now everybody knows around here. We got to do it to somebody that don't watch the show.
I think that's one of those things. Nobody's thinking about that. I think you can pull it off.
I'd shit my pants. There's no doubt about it like that. Listen to this, though. That baby doll ended up being our good luck charm. Won the tournament and named him Drake. Kind of like the penny on a NASCAR driver's, thing that dash like that. So that's a pretty cool story right there. Jason Jones, ain't no Jesus, the random kid's toy output right there. I'm telling you, listen. Toys in a spare bedroom that talk for no reason is one of the spookiest things out there. Yep. Have you ever experienced that, Kevin?
The toys, yeah. We had a playroom too, kids' playroom.
And they just start talking out of nowhere.
My wife found these things. They go in your bathroom, and it's like a little snowman, and he might have a plunger and something.
Right.
And it's motion activated. So when you walk in and you turn the bathroom light on, this thing starts talking to you.
Scare the crap right out of it.
Scares the daylights out of you at first.
Oh, Legos versus bare feet. 100%.
Oh, God. My kid was a Lego.
100% Legos. That's one of the worst pains in the world, just be walking, minding your own business. Between that and actually stubbing your toe and saying some choice words like that. So, John G. Wilson, nobody believes in ghosts until they legit see one. Now, I will say this. If I see one, I promise I'll let you guys know. You may think I'm nuts. I don't know. Can you say I've been fortunate not to see one or unfortunate not to see one?
In a couple of weeks, ask my wife about the ghosts. I grew up.
Oh, here we go.
I grew up in a house that was built it was finished in 1865. It wasn't a home. It was a girls' dormitory of a school.
Oh, this is a start of a daggum horror movie right here.
Oh, yeah. So one night we're sitting there. We were dating. And it was about midnight or something. She went up to get a glass of water or whatever she was doing in the kitchen. And she comes back. I hear something, kind of like somebody, like you dropped a quarter on the floor.
Yeah.
And she looked up the stairs. She's thinking it was me being funny. And she's like, Dave? And I'm in the bedroom across the house. I go, what? All you hear is, and dude, she came over the foot of that bed and in the covers. I got up, and sure enough, there was a quarter on the floor. She will tell you that in 2 weeks.
the quarter just rolled down the stairs?
No, we used to have a ghost. We used to call her Miss Dixon. I don't know. That was her name. Apparently,
The ghost was Miss Dixon.
She was a previous owner of the house, of the property, and she literally will tell you she had a conversation
With Miss Dixon.
Yeah. So yeah, she had a conversation. So it wasn't long after that we got married, and I started working nights, and we moved in there full time. It didn't bother me. I sleep like a rock anyway. And she told me the first night she was there, she was sitting in the living room having a conversation with Miss Dixon. And look, I'm married. I live in this house now. We're gonna get along, all things. So we'll make sure you ask her about that when y'all come have jambalaya and beignets.
So she's gonna tell me about Miss Dixon.
I'm gonna make her tell you about Miss Dixon. She was freaked out, dude. I don't know where the quarter come from. I was in the bed.
Did you ever see Miss Dixon?
I don't think so.
But your wife talked to her.
My wife, they had a conversation one night to make sure they could both coexist in the same home. And my wife's she ain't like that at all. Like, she's like dumb smart. So I was like, finally she's like, go look at the quarter. I walked in, cut the light on, sure enough, it was
Okay, all right. So listen, I know we're getting close to the end, but we're gonna work on this for a second. Jeremy Tyson, if you want to start a TikTok trend with Drake, I'll drop him off by the shop. Absolutely.
I'll gladly do a video.
Dude, let's do that. We might actually go viral. Doc Holliday. My late wife sometimes turns on the closet lights. Oh, wow. John G. Wilson. I ain't seen Bigfoot, but I've seen a Confederate soldier standing at the foot of my bed. Listen, they're always at the foot of the bed.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
he's checking on.
He's just checking on you. All right. So, was at the was at a Bass Expo. Saw Paul Elias. I took my hat off, and he flipped a jig in my hat from about 60 foot away. Dude can flip. That's impressive, right there. But right now, I'm working on this ghost thing we got going on right here, because this is one topic we've never covered on the Fish North Georgia podcast right here. So John G says, I have 7 siblings, and at some time or another, we've all seen the soldier. Wow. Okay, here's the thing. Not dismissing it. How come I ain't never seen one? Like, I'd like to see one if they existed.
Would you?
Well, if they're nice like Miss Dixon.
Yeah, Miss Dixon was fine. She never bothered anybody.
Bothered
my wife.
Huh?
That we know of.
That we know of.
Yeah, she bothered the hell out of Jennifer.
I would probably, though, I'd get the fat old woman that, you know what I'm saying, that gets mad at my jokes and stuff like that. And what's that movie where that woman ties the guy to the bed and breaks his
Misery?
I'd get the misery woman. My wife would move out because, until you get that woman out of the house, I'm not staying with you. So I'd end up tied to the bed with both my legs broke. Like, why can't I get the nice ghost?
I don't know.
Or it could be the gay Ron Jeremy or something like that. I wouldn't get the, you know what I'm saying? I couldn't get the good ghost. Let's see. Jason Jones. It's like contract work. You can't just ask them. You got to get them. Spirits are capricious or whatever. So you just got to go get them.
I never talked to her. She left me alone. I didn't have any issues with it. I mean, I lived there 26 years, so she didn't bother me.
How many conversations did your wife have with Miss Dixon?
I think just that one. But she told me, she's like, I'm dead serious. We had this conversation, and we had to, I'm moving in here. We had to get along.
Did you, honest truth, did you believe your wife when she said it at the time?
About having the conversation?
Yeah.
Yeah, because she was that freaked out, dude. She was like shaking and white and all the things. Because like I said, a quarter came flying. It actually hit her.
Miss Dixon threw a quarter at her.
That's what she says. There was all I know is I heard a quarter hit the floor. There was a quarter in the floor, and I was in the bed across the house.
Tony, you're gonna be there at the
Bring it up.
and you're gonna be there.
Yeah.
You were
at his house when we eat jambalaya in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna get this conversation
get the full story
right there. All right, Aaron Young. Reverse was out on a boat motor, went to shove the boat out of a boat slip. At the same time, my buddy grabbed the pole and pulled the boat from the dock, 43-degree water on Dale Hollow, and I still fished.
Good for you.
Woo! Good Lord, no way. I've heard some ungodly noises in the woods that I can't explain. Don't want to know either. It might be that guy's buddy that stepped on his own crap and he got his boat like that.
Right.
Jason Jones, is seeing them produce pancakes, run it.
Okay.
Well, I tell you what, this episode ended up kind of interesting right there towards the end.
We got a conversation for the ladies.
We got a
In a couple
conversation for the ladies. We managed to do a full 2 hours. Listen, guys, you want the honest truth? Like, these two guys thought we were going to talk about something different. Me and Tony came up with the idea of what we're going to talk about what, 5 o'clock?
Yeah.
5:30, and we didn't have anything planned.
And you told us at 7:30.
I told you at 7:30. So you guys, listen, the reason why this podcast works is because you guys in the and we didn't talk about my COVID test today. So, but the reason this podcast works is because of you guys in the comments section. Because, like I said, we always like to approach it like we're sitting around a campfire at deer camp or something like that, or sitting on a dock.
I wish we had a damn campfire.
Yeah, guys, listen,
Yes.
our heat's out at the
Chilly.
building. It is cold as all get go in here. It was 47 when I came in this morning.
It
47.
feels colder than that.
TKR, have y'all watched anything about the feral people of Appalachia? Crazy. I've seen a little bit on that. Have you seen that?
Uh-huh.
They're a little rough, but my wife's got family like that. They're from South Carolina.
You're not going home tonight, are you?
I am, but she's already asleep. So, Brian Justice, wow, this has been one for the books. Have a great trip Saturday, Danny. Good luck. Absolutely. Y'all can be my co-angler anytime. And Jason Jones said he'll come build us a fire pit. Listen, free of charge. Is that what FOC means?
Yep.
I hope so.
That's what I read it as.
We wanted it inside.
I want to make sure anytime somebody says something free of charge, it always ends up costing me somehow, or I'll pay you back. You know, those things like that. So listen, guys, look, we've actually gone over a little bit tonight, but you guys make the show. Absolutely. Well, Jason Jones want to talk about it. Absolutely make the show. That's why we love doing this every Tuesday and Thursday night. It's the best outside of hanging out with my wife. It's the best couple hours of every week. So, and I always appreciate the guys that take their time, like Kevin and Dave and Tony and all the other guys that come up here and hang out with us. But you guys in the comment section, we absolutely love you guys. So if you're on the water this weekend, I hope you have better luck than what people have been having. But first of all, stay safe. You've heard it several times in the comments tonight that water is cold.
Mm-hmm.
So y'all stay safe. Watch out for Miss Dixon. Can't wait to hear that story. And dude, I'm excited. I'm excited like that.
She was freaked out.
Yeah. Well, if any building in Pickens County is haunted, it ought to be this one. So appreciate you guys. We'll see you next Tuesday night. And yeah, let's see if we can if you put Baby Drake in the boat Saturday, you're guaranteed to win. We'll see. So let's start that TikTok going on right there with that, Tony. So love you guys. We'll see you on next week. Lanier. So there you go. Be good.